I do not remember, and I did not go back and listen to find out who it was that did the last time for the main campaign thing. And since it's been several weeks before we actually played this game, I'm just going to do the last time for thing.
All right, go for
It's
it.
easier that way. Um,
Lead on, Dungeon Master.
and so last time, um, Oak did a stupid. Hmm?
Very stupid. Very, very stupid.
And caused a rift of sorts between the essentially the NPC party members and the main player party members, and so the group
He
split
cleft
up.
the party in half non-lethally, is what he did.
Yeah, something like that. And having done that, Locke and Riven went off in a different direction from the way that the four had been previously traveling, and they went straight to Yukiegi instead of going through Rydell and around and all this. They went through Misty Village and sort of split the difference a little bit, and sort of left.
And ask the family to give Young and Oak a solid thwack on the back of the head and tell them they were morons next time they pass through.
Yes, um, and they sort of had left Young and Oak on the road and weren't entirely sure, nor did they care which way they went afterwards. So,
Yeah, we're kind of pissed at those two.
um, but the good thing to happen out of said exchange was that Riven and Locke got a little bit closer and had some interesting conversations. Um,
Including Locke explaining how the hell multiple planes of existence work.
or at
And
least
she still
trying
didn't
to.
understand.
Yes.
She just like nods, like, okay.
Um, and then the two of you had made your way to Yukiegi and spent some time with Alessandra and presented to her the um, runes for the teleportation circle you had grabbed from Noro's little hideout, as well as showing those to Leanne, who was Oak's mother. Um, you had realized that the teleportation circle led to the mages center of Caverton. Um, and along with that, you also realized that Yukiegi was in the middle of getting ready for a festival. That's fun. Um, this particular session for Shadows of Gradariel will open up with um, Riven and Locke are both in um, Alessandra's
Having breakfast.
library of the home and having breakfast. It's a few days, or well, a day or two before the actual festival is set to happen. There's still a little bit of setup going on outside, or at least there will be once, the later part of the morning comes in. Also, Locke, I forgot to mention, one of the things that you had grabbed from Noro's lair wasn't just a journal, but you had grabbed one of his spell books.
Right.
And I had said prior that I was going to give you a list of spells that was in that spell book, and I had forgotten to give it to you last session. You can now check the handout for his journal, Nora's journal, and you now have a list of spells that he had in the book.
Oh, nice.
One of the spells that was in it amongst the list of spells is scrying.
Mm.
And I had recalled that there was a point in which Locke was thinking about making use of scrying to see if he could find his father, or some aspect of his father.
How to use it, or assuming he can figure out how to use it, or have someone else use it. Because I don't know if warlocks can use scrying. They just have to hit 5th level first, or whatever level unlocks 5th level spells. Rather, let me see here.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not capable of making use of scrying yet yourself, but you do have a high level wizard for a mother.
Indeed. Okay.
Wait, so it's a wizard spellbook?
It's a book with wizard and sorcerer, wizard and warlock spells, mostly wizard spells.
Ah, okay.
Although realistically, a warlock doesn't have to have a spell book necessarily to make use of spells, whereas a wizard does.
Right.
Um, so, and as Locke pointed out, or Brian pointed out just now, scrying is technically a warlock and wizard spell.
Thing is, I'd have to be level 8 or 9 before I could actually cast it, and I am presently not
6.
that.
Yeah, you are presently level 6.
I saw 2 or 3 levels away from that.
But, in theory, if you wanted to make use of scrying, you have that option. Your mother never actually knew scrying herself and never really made use of it. But she now has it written in a spellbook that she could copy to her own.
Nice. Right, well, then can we just say that like Locke suddenly like has that epiphany as he's like going over the stuff at breakfast?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay. In that case, I'll just the metaphorical light bulb go off. Oh! He'll suddenly pick up the book and just waddle over to wherever his mom is.
I mean, you're sitting around a small little breakfast table type thing, so she's right there.
Okay, so it's like something. Oh, that's right. Okay. It's like just ding. That's right. That's a thing I can do, and I will essentially spew that out, just like in an excited babble.
Right.
What?
Is that in character?
Yes. She's just going like, what?
Look,
Like, where did this come from?
sorry, just brain blast, whatever. Point is, I that's the reference I just made there. Anyway,
Brain blast. Right. Okay.
Jimmy Neutron. Right.
Yes.
I'll sort of pull out Noro's spell book or whatever, flip to scrying, and show it to my mother. Say, "Can you copy this down? Is this within your realm of doing?"
Yes, actually.
Oh, well, good. That cuts out a fair few steps from what I would be doing then.
Although, if I was to cast a
Are you
spell
gonna
light,
make a scroll for it?
I'm not sure how scroll making works.
Riven
I
looks
mean-
at looks at her.
you could find a scroll for it, or perhaps I could make one. It would just take time. And in theory, I could just copy this spell over and cast it myself if you were just... If you had someone you wanted to... If you wanted to look for him. Because, after all, unfortunately, I know him more than you do.
Right. And, well, he is the person I want to find, so... When the time actually comes for me to set off and go off on that full time...
Wait. Why haven't you tried scrying on him before?
Well, my mother didn't know the spell, and I never knew him, and I didn't know the spell, but now we have the spell. That was initially
You
the whole...
didn't know the spell?
I did not.
I thought all wizards knew most of their spells. Like
Well,
all
that-
the spells.
No.
I don't know how much magic works, okay?
Riven, let me ask you this. If you give an axe to a toddler and then challenge said toddler to a duel, will the toddler be able to use all of the best techniques with that axe?
No, they won't be able to lift it.
It's
Why
kind
would
of
I want to fight a toddler anyway?
That's beside the point. The point is, it's a similar deal with magic. It's not something that once you become ding, you're a wizard, you can just do it all. No, there are a lot of spells, much like there are a lot of ways you can wield an axe, a lot of ways you can hold a sword, a lot of ways you can
Yes,
swing
and
a
I
sword.
was just saying she's more experienced than you, and I thought maybe she would have known it by now.
That is a fair point.
I wouldn't have needed to go to Caberton if she did.
Though, I had never found the spell myself simply because I was not in... Alessandra is basically like... She had never actually learned the spell nor found it, and she's not necessarily the adventuring type to go out and get a spell book to find it. And once things started to go down concerning when he left and when Locke was born and all the issues involved, that she was sort of loosely banned from learning new spells within their hometown previously. So,
I mean, you can't stop someone from learning magic within their own domicile.
no, but if I didn't have a copy of the spell itself, there was no way for me to materialize it out of thin air.
Okay.
But that's beside the point. I have it now, and given a little bit of time to copy the scrollings over, especially considering he has this written in. You said that this Noro character was a Furbolg?
Refresh my memory in character, was he?
Yeah, he was.
Yes.
Yes, he was a Furbolg. He really
Huh.
liked dead things.
His spellbook kind of bounces between written in standard Elven and in like Sylvan and High Elven in some places.
Ugh. I can't necessarily say I'm surprised. Near as I can tell, he's not all that different from me in where a lot of his magic comes from. Near as I
Yeah.
can tell, he has a patron much like I do.
Either way, I will get to work in doing this, and I had heard that there were people that were they were getting ready to set up for the festival outside. So,
Nothing.
Locke kind of looks at Riven funny. To you too.
What? I don't like a lot of people. I mean, I don't like. I can't. Being around a lot of people is a lot for me.
Okay, so then don't. No one's making you. I don't think. I mean, blink twice if someone's making you stand around a lot of people. And he stares at her really, really, really intensely.
She just like tilts her head like, what?
See? If you don't want to hang around a bunch of people, you can just stay inside where people don't typically go. Like here, this is a library. When there's a big festival going on, how many people do you think are really going to want to sit down and read a good book while sipping a glass of wine? No, they're all going to be out there getting wasted in the tavern and playing stupid games.
Or, actually, this is like kind of like a doubles at a bookstore, right?
it does.
Okay, so maybe someone will decide to come in and study and make a good time and do some shopping.
I mean, yes, but I mean, this place certainly isn't going to get anywhere near as much anywhere near as much traffic as somewhere that sells like alcohol or food.
Yes. The tavern is most definitely going to get a big pile in.
So
And-
steer clear of there, definitely, if you don't like big crowds.
Right.
However, I had also heard that supposedly we're going to have a bard stepping in and being a good guest for such an area.
Really?
Hmm? He's an interesting sort, or at least so I've heard.
Well, that's a very informative and helpful answer, Mother. Thank you for that. I'm gonna give her a sideways smirk to show I'm joking.
Yes. She chuckles a bit, and then shall we say his performances tend to be of the story variety. He likes to tell stories.
Interesting.
But, anyway, as he, finishes up with the whatever sort of breakfast that you three had, also, obviously, there's some food and scraps left amongst the breakfast for Hollis.
What is Hollis doing anyway?
What is Hollis doing? I would imagine he's just sitting next to Riven.
Probably.
Here's another question: has he grown at all since we first got him?
Probably.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it's been...
It's because a couple months at this point, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, it's been a little over...
So maybe you can just slightly see his ears poking over the table.
Yeah. And he's probably, at least, being that, you know, he was a runt, but he wasn't necessarily a super young pup when you found him. He's probably, like, just starting to come into the... very slowly coming into the dire aspects of his physicality. He's still got a ways before he's fully grown yet, but he's starting to come in for that.
Nice.
In the sense of the spikes and all that stuff. You know, he has whatever sort of meat and stuff that's part of the breakfast. You know, you can hand it down to Hollis.
Scarf, nom.
Yes. And once breakfast is finished, Alessandra sort of steps away to start working on and copying the scroll over, which it seemed to recall from Wizard's logic that, and from like Caleb's stuff, that it would normally take like 20-30 minutes or something for them to do such a thing.
Probably.
Yeah, because it's not just simply writing. There's the arcane aspect of it too. So they have to
aspect, translating the runes into something you personally can make proper use of to your format and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
It's all very personalized, as I understand it.
Yep. And once, assuming that you guys stay inside for her to do that, once she's done looking through that and setting up, she then goes and steps away from the little desk area she was working on it with and goes up into the loft area where her bedroom essentially was, and sort of rummages around. You hear her digging through boxes. She's not quite got everything completely organized from when she had made her uprooted move over here. She still has some boxes scattered about. A lot better than it was, and it's mostly up in the loft where she has the boxes still. But
she's not animating objects to have to like Yen Sid sweep everything.
Not at the moment, no.
That phase is over.
Yeah. She's got most everything done now. She's just now sort of balancing running the bookstore and organizing her actual belongings. And she sort of rummages around in and amongst those belongings for a bit, and she comes downstairs or comes down out of the loft afterwards with a sort of essentially it's a almost like a platinum chalice. It's extremely expensive looking. Mine is not. It doesn't have like a bunch of different little runes and stuff on it, but it's a very expensive looking like bowl or cup. And Locke, if you would roll me a I guess it technically be like a wisdom check to see if you might remember what this was.
5.
You
I
do
know nothing.
You do not. All right. Yeah. So she comes downstairs. She has that. She sort of gets some water from essentially the D&D version of whatever their plumbing would be. I don't know how that would actually work in this world.
River.
Well, she doesn't necessarily have a river nearby.
Or a water barrel.
Yeah. And she sets up the chalice as if it's a sort of visual medium of sorts. And she sets up and goes through all the steps to cast scrying.
Oh, she's
Which is
doing that
essentially
now,
drawing
alright.
Huh?
Alright. Cool. Don't let me stop her.
She draws runes on the ground in a circle. She sort of sits on her knees on the floor with the chalice in front of her. And you see her sort of zone out and go in a trance. And you haven't really seen spells like this with her before. And he sort of just fades out and mentally disappears for a second.
Locke remains utterly quiet and just waits, watching with rapt attention.
Riven doing anything specific? Or just watching?
Oh, just watching.
Having finished that, he sort of steps away, sets the chalice on the floor near where she was sort of kneeling. Doesn't surprise me in the least.
What?
What?
What'd you see?
I saw a prison cell.
Prison cell.
Was he doing anything?
I don't know. Having not really seen or talked to him in upwards of 16 years, I can't imagine
So just sitting in a prison cell.
he was in a prison cell. He was.
What type of was
Like-
there anything identifying about the cell? Like, could you maybe narrow down where maybe it was?
It was one of the bigger cells. I would imagine it would be a prison cell for someplace like Rydell or Caverton even. It had to be a bigger place. I saw, much more well-off guards than it being one of the smaller
Was it a
towns.
guard? Wait, you were able to see one of the guards?
I saw them posted and sort of centering in amongst the other cells around them.
Is
Did
there
you see-
anything distinct about their armor?
Symbols, crests, anything?
Color, even?
Yeah, that too.
I believe it might have been Caverton.
You think it's Caberton?
I believe so. It was dark. And scrying doesn't always give you the best sense of dark vision, especially when I was only seeing the edges of the cell because I was closer to where he was, and he was in the back.
Mm. So, any colors or anything?
Not in the drab, dark cell, really.
Okay, so you couldn't really tell if it was Caberton or not?
It's I'm going to assume it was Caverton, just on the grounds that what little bit of the guards that I could see, I saw symbols that may have been Caverton's. I don't really know Rydell's symbols.
Well, color is more vibrant than symbols.
Yeah.
You can kind of
Very
tell.
simple.
You can kind of tell, especially you, Locke, knowing your mother. She sort of spent a little bit more time looking to him to see if she could get an idea of his own well-being.
Well-being.
and I did see a flash of silver, common color among Caverton guards. As my voice goes, blah, blah. She says, I saw silver, which is a rather common color among Caverton guards.
And I guess Caberton is where I'm going when we're done here, whenever that is. At least until the festival's over, at the earliest.
I'm not surprised he is in a jail cell, but it does worry me that he is there.
Can you honestly still say you care about him after what happened to us?
Well, was it truly his fault?
Maybe not the attack, but the blame we suffered when he left.
Yeah, the blame was set on him, but is it actually his fault?
I just want to know why he left. Left us to
Okay,
suffer
if you're gonna
and
do that, you're gonna need to somehow get into that prison. How are you going to do that?
I don't know yet. I'll figure it out when I get there.
Okay.
Maybe they let people visit prisoners under watch. Maybe I could, I don't know.
Oh, better think of a reason to visit him.
Huh.
What's his name?
Frederick.
Frederick?
Yeah.
Okay. So, what?
Well, again, I kind of want to wait until the festival's over. Just try and relax a bit after all the crap we went through coming back here, you know?
Well, okay.
Yeah, so that's my plan. You?
I'm fine staying a couple of days.
All right. I don't really have much else I need to do today, so I think shifting out of character, I think that's pretty much just an announcement that we're just gonna laze for the rest of the day. Just take some downtime. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, unless something pops up.
I mean, Locke's made it pretty clear he's not leaving the town until at least the festival's over, just so he can have some time to unwind and clear his feckin' head. When the festival's
Right.
over, then he'll start giving some serious thought to heading out to Caberton.
When is this bard coming in? And when is the actual festival? Like, how many days?
The festival itself is a single day event, and it is within um, um, 3 days. Technically 2 days at this point, because it was within 3 days when you came into Yukiegi last time.
All right.
So 2 days
Okay.
from now.
All right.
I guess since it's not really going to be a big swing of things, I guess Riven would visit the tavern a little bit.
Oh yeah.
If
I mean,
if not anything today, if anything pops up beforehand.
yeah, it's not going to be
Since
super
it is
busy
just
yet today.
morning.
But yeah, if you step into the tavern, you see, a much more standard crowd for Daverton's bar. You see a few extra people that aren't normally there that might have gotten there a little bit earlier to get ready for the festival itself, but not a whole lot of big, huge crowds that would really bother her per se.
Okay, and anyone eyeing a dire wolf just walking around?
No.
Okay.
I mean, adventurers travel around all the time, and I don't necessarily see a problem with that.
Exotic. Yeah, so, okay.
Although the barmaid, the human woman from before, she is very willing to give a handout of meat scraps or two to. She sort of likes seeing him around.
Okay.
We are known here.
Yay.
Somewhat, yeah.
We are recognizable. Probably not known, but recognizable.
You're recognizable as a group that would come into town, but not necessarily recognized as heroes or any sort of big fancy something like that. I suppose we just would probably skip to the festival itself if there's not anything in particular that anybody wants to do in the downtime.
Locke's just relaxing and getting his head together. And he's socially awkward as hell, so chances are he's not going to initiate much in the way of social discussion with Riven. He's just giving her space right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he knows she's juggling shit of her own in her head, so.
Yep.
Yeah. Yay. A
Riven.
very social group.
Fucking nothing's happening.
Riven,
I know.
perception
What?
check.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
11.
Yeah, it's alright. You had went to the
Has
tavern,
been
yes?
a lot higher.
You had went to the tavern, yes?
Yeah, I'm just hanging out, just like, okay.
Alright.
Maybe have a drink or two. Just
So
like,
you
okay.
see in and amongst the normal bar goers and whatnot, you see a human male, got long, sort of older individual, sort of got like short cropped salt and pepper sort of hair thing going on. Looks to be maybe 40s, 50s. But he is in a sort of more clerical attire of sorts. A little bit of armor. Doesn't necessarily be the type to necessarily go out and adventure. He seems more the type to just travel in general.
And preach.
And preach. And what strikes you and gets your attention with your perception of 11 is you see that he has a sort of a somewhere between a cape and a like I know it's the wrong word, but for some reason my brain wants to say shawl, the sort of wrap around one would have around their shoulders. And you see Myliki's holy symbol on his shawl.
Ah, okay, keeping quiet, sitting here, just enjoying my drink. I'm going to...
It's following you everywhere.
Yes, it's haunting me.
Why is the moon always there? Stop following me, moon! Don't make me come up there. Sorry.
Yes. But yes, he is in the tavern currently. Sort of getting a drink or two, chatting up with some of the few people that are around him. You see that he's got a few that come in just after he did, and yeah. Perception wasn't quite high enough to hear what they're discussing without going over to them, but yeah, you have that.
Oh no, there's more of them. They're multiplying. Anyway, yeah, she's just gonna sit there and spend, what is it, a gold for an ale here?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, she'll throw 2 gold to get like 2 ales, and I'll probably be it.
Okay.
Yeah, she's hanging out here.
We will probably skip ahead to the festival itself then.
Very well.
Yeah.
Does Locke come out of his mother's house at any point between the next couple days, or is he just sort of stick to there?
I mean, he'll probably take a couple walks here and there just to clear his head and get some fresh air, but that's about it.
Yeah, Riven would go back to the library house.
Just take walks, clear his head, go back, sleep. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm. As you're going about,
I'm so used to saying I'm sweepy when I get tired. So,
as you're going about, your walks, sort of on that last day before the festival itself, give me a perception check for you, sir.
ah, shit, we're all gonna die.
Yay.
All right, let's see here. What do I get? I get a 12.
All right.
What do I see with my 12?
That's just one higher than me.
That is one higher than Riven did.
But I didn't
Alright.
get a +5, so it's just flat.
So,
Yeah, still a lot better.
you see, in amongst your travels, you see your little walk around, get fresh air. You see the different vendors and things getting set up for the big gathering of people, and the little feast that's on the long table, and all sorts of various fun things. You see the dwarf setting up for the potato toss game thing.
Alright.
And you notice those getting ready for the little ring toss sort of a game, which that was led by a gnome. And you basically see all the party, all the little stands and stuff.
Alright.
And everybody seems to be getting those things set up in the later part of the evening the day before, so that when the festival hits, it's sort of with the sun, the games can start, and more people can be getting in, and that whole thing.
Alright. Fun. Don't know why I needed to roll perception for all that, but fun.
Well, the 12 perception was to see if you would notice people who are not more observant and are not more people coming
Shady
into town
people.
more stealthily.
Oh,
Yeah,
did I see
shady
any?
people.
Because there's at least one of those that was doing that, and you rolled a 12. Darn you! You didn't see him, but anyway.
Okay.
Was this the day of the festival?
No, it's not the day of. It's like the
Okay.
night before, afternoon, evening before.
Alright. So I did not notice sneaky people. That is a shame. Then I guess
Yep.
Locke will eventually fuck off back to the library after finishing his walk. This is a riveting session so far.
Yes. Shush. All right. So, having done that, festival happens. Where is Locke and Riven for the festival? Do they stick to the library and just sort of hide?
I don't know if hide is the right word, but sure, let's go with it.
I don't know. It's like, is there no reasons to drag us out?
Doesn't seem
I
like it.
mean,
Unless his mom gets like mad, I'd be like, okay, you two need to go out.
yeah. If you two decide you want to try to stay in the tavern, she's going, or stay in the library. She eventually is like, go on.
We're antisocial. Too bad. Go.
All right.
I mean, short of pushing you out the door, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, until we're given a direction and until the festival's over, I don't really have anything my character is supposed to be doing. I'm just relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, if you go out and sort of join into the festival, at least Locke will see a certain purple-haired person.
Okay, I'm not going to voice that interaction.
I know that.
Okay.
I value my vocal cords.
I mean, yeah, I know. And If the two of you are outside, you will hear.
I'm sure Riven would be like towards like maybe attempting to try to avoid crowds, but like still go get some food.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose Locke will just meander along with her just for the sake of having some company. I'll just... And so he can routinely and surreptitiously mage hand Hollis.
Ugh,
Scritchy,
great.
Of course.
scritchy, scratch.
So, eventually, with you traveling around, sort of sticking to the shadows, or not necessarily shadows, but away from the crowd itself, you hear the Warforged Mayor Shieldbuff sort of get everybody ready to send them inside the tavern to listen to the Bard's coming show. I wager you two probably don't go in there.
Probably not. I'm half tempted to have Locke go in there just so I can have an excuse to have Kenneth tell that story again as Wesley. But no, I'm not going to do that.
I mean, you could.
I could, but I'm not gonna. He came here to spectate, not participate.
He would totally do it. He'd be down for that.
Help.
I am here, and technically, Wesley would be too.
Well, we've already heard the story. If I want to listen to it again, I can just go back and listen to the Charisma Yes episode. So I
You
won't
didn't
be
hear
doing
the
that.
ending, though.
Huh? Oh, right.
Huh.
Think it. Tell us another time. Let's just stick
Yeah.
to the shit that's relevant to this.
So, the crowd sort of filters in to the tavern itself. The city seems a lot less crowded once a lot of people have made their way inside the tavern to enjoy the show. You two sort of stay outside, which is fine, and
Meandering aimlessly.
sort of meandering around, and soon after, getting closer to like that moment when those of the tavern are making their way out from the one shot previously. But before that, I'm not going to necessarily roll a perception check for this. But Riven, you see the clerical person from before, and he is sort of making his way away from the town proper and out towards the more wooded area that is, sort of, it gets past the farms, the farmlands, and up towards the mountains, the snow, and there's a slightly denser sort of woodland aspect of that is off to the side of Yukiegi, and he, along with 3 or 4 other people, head to the sort of outskirts, and you do see that at least 1 or 2 of those extra people that he's traveling with would have the same sort of holy symbol. Maybe it's on a shield, maybe it's on a shawl again.
Okay.
And actually, among them, you do see someone who doesn't appear to be as heavily armored, and you see that this person has a darker cloak, and yeah, they're just sort of making their way out.
Okay.
You pick up you find the food relatively easy. I mean, they have a feast that was during the day part of the festival that was out on this table, so you don't necessarily have to go into the tavern to get it. And you see the very sort of Rube Goldberg machine instrument thing that the Warforged had set aside.
What is that?
It's basically a box that it's like a large, partially wooden, partially metal box that is making all sorts of what would essentially be noise, but some sort of aspect of the noise seems to be musical in a sort of percussion kind of a way. The way that stuff starts, the way the sounds hit and line up together, and it's
Oh
just
right, yeah. You talked about that last time. I don't remember.
yep. It's just this mechanical device to make music in a sort of percussion sort of way, using mostly marbles and small little tiny mallets and wires.
Swanky.
But yeah, if you two take a look at that, the gnome, the sort of older wizened gnome, will actually. I'm just going to ask: are you? Because it's right next to the food. Are you guys?
Yeah, she's like looking at it like, what is this?
Locke is fascinated by it.
Okay. Taking a look at it, sort of at a cursory glance without actually touching it and messing with it, because it's not yours, so you don't get any kind of check on that. The wizened, sort of elderly gnome person from that you had met before when you met Shield Buff is, oh, that is just Shield Buff's instrument. He built it as an offering.
It's
An offering?
Yes. And the wizened gnome points up to the holy symbol flags that are up above the mayor's house that you two probably didn't even notice because you didn't bother to look up.
What is the holy symbol? Who is it for?
You can make a religion check if you want to know who the holy symbol person is.
Sure.
sure.
Oh, where's my language? I got a nat 1. So it's only a 2.
I got a 15.
Oh, okay. Well, as our lovely not here person put in the
Riven was
chat,
just like,
you know
nope.
religion exists. That's about it.
Yeah.
What about me? Do I know anything about this?
Yes. Sort of again with some of the studies when you were back at your mother's library in the previous town, and you sort of looked up and looked into religious texts and things just before you'd found Ambroson's book, and in your studies and all that sort of fun stuff. You had read up about the gnomish deity known as Flandel Steelskin. He is basically a sort of artificer, inventor, engineer, gnomish deity. And the High Forge hammer, basically a steel forged hammer that is lit on fire on top, which is the holy symbol up there, is his. And since you did roll a 15, you know that though you had heard tales that the Midsummer Festival was more often a sort of crops-based holiday and a farmer's holiday, you had heard of tales of the inventor type creating new machines and metalworks to sort of show their engineering prowess of sorts during the Midsummer Festival.
Neat. So with that in mind, I'll sort of nod, say, "Oh well, it's pretty impressive. I'm sure
What
insert
is?
deity's name, the offering, the offering machine thingy.
Oh, what does it do?
It makes music. Can't you hear it?
Oh, was it playing music?
Yeah,
It is. In
Oh, I overlooked that.
a sort of percussion sort of a way, it was doing a sort of more rhythmical uh, music to it. But yes,
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure insert deity name here would be rather pleased. It's quite impressive, and it doesn't blow stuff up, so that's a nice plus.
yes.
Though I can't claim to know much about insert deity name here myself, so
Nice save there. You could just say steel skin. It's relatively simple.
I lost that part too.
Um,
Okay.
but yeah, he sort of
And I'll
smiles.
kind of and then I'll kind of lean over to Riven and quietly explain who this guy is and what, the religion part of it.
And as you're sort of leaning over to do that, having not really picked up on the non-verbal cues, the wizened gnomish individual just sort of goes into this rant about during the Midsummer Festival, a lot of folks from various different deities and religions will come out and do various rituals for their deity as part of the midsummer celebration.
Summer celebration. Holy shit, we were transported to Equestria. Locke is very happy.
Good.
Never.
Yes, I know I said summer sun. I'm sorry. Anyway. So, uh, and he starts to rattle off this list of deities and things, one of which is my Becky. That
Mm-hmm.
there are people who are doing rituals for that individual, or those individual deities in and amongst the town. But yeah, I'm assuming you head back into the library as people start to filter out of the tavern and the city gets crowded again.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Just that. Oh, the people are coming. Time to leave.
Hide away.
Hide.
Scurry
Hide.
toward in.
Hide. Miss the adventure that Charisma Yes went on, so that we don't have to get involved and fuck with the timeline. Hide.
Alrighty, fair enough. So, the festival happens rather calmly, boringly for you non-social types, which is fine. And the festival has passed. It is the following day. It has been 3 days since you had come in. You had pretty much said that you were going to stay for the festival, and that was it.
Yeah, so this would be like the day after the festival would be like her last day and stuff, so.
Yep.
Guess she would be gathering her things.
All right. I assume Locke's going to notice this.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All right. Where exactly are we?
You're in your mother's library, I would assume.
Yeah.
Which part?
Oh, she's like getting her bedroll and stuff together.
So, like, we're up in the attic where we slept.
Yeah.
Sure.
And what time is it? Just so I can appropriately, alright?
Roll a random time.
I would imagine it is in the earlier part of the morning. If Riven had gotten up earlier to start her morning routine as she normally does, and then afterwards she started to pack, I could see this being probably 9 or 10 a.m. just after Locke woke up.
This would probably be after like breakfast.
Okay.
Alright, so, then I guess, like, as you're grabbing your shit, Locke comes up and, what? Riven?
Yes.
getting your things together. You thinking we're heading out?
I would like to head out.
Where are you headed?
I'm not entirely sure. Just gonna visit a few places.
Hmm. I imagine you'd protest heavily if I wanted to go with you.
Yes.
That does seem to be the pattern.
It's just the way I'm traveling. It could be dangerous. And I'm really trying to look out after you.
Well, the feeling's mutual.
Right? So,
That's why I was so adamant on going with you after we left Oak and Yong. It goes back and forth, you know?
yes, I understand, but I have to find some answers for myself. And I really don't know where to start, and I don't want to drag you around all over the place while you have some business to take care of.
Well, at this point I figured out how stubborn you are, so...
Yes, I'm very stubborn.
I guess that means I'm not gonna stop you then.
No, I could probably outrun you.
Oh, you definitely could. Look at me. I'm a twig.
Eh,
Malnourishment will do that.
well, start eating more.
Oh, I have been. Since we linked up.
Mm-hmm.
Riven randomly leaves and comes back, and Locke has a strength score of 14.
Ooh, you buffed up a little. Still scrawny.
I'd have to more than double my strength score for that to happen, because it's 6 right now.
Ooh.
Yes.
Wow.
For what it's worth, not that you even tried, but Locke would not have been able to do the potato toss game.
No.
And your mother is actually keeping quiet during this whole exchange. This is
Oh,
between you two, so...
I didn't even think she was in the room, so...
Well, I mean, she's downstairs, but
She can probably hear us.
she can hear you at least moving about and knows that you're awake.
Alright, well...
Well, because we had breakfast. Of course
Oh,
she
well,
knows
yeah,
we're
that's
awake.
true. You did have breakfast.
It's after breakfast. So I just be
Well.
like,
For what it's worth, I hope you find the answers you're looking for. And
when I do, I will come back, okay?
alright. Before you head out, there's
I
a...
promise not to do anything stupid.
I'll hold you to that.
Okay.
Before you head out, there is one thing I actually want to say first.
Alright.
Like, Locke is getting visually anxious at this point, kind of wringing his hands together. I want to tell you my real name. It's...
Locke's not your real name?
Nope. It's, an alias I picked for myself after I left my home. Using a different name makes it harder for me for people to find me. I mean, real, true names, they can carry a degree of power, right? So going around using a fake name, if people from Sevanora are still looking for me, then going by an alias will make it harder for them to find me. I chose Locke because I was able to deduce that I'm a warlock. It's daft and trite, I know, naming myself after what I've become, but it had you and the others fooled for a while, at least. So
Well,
I just ask that when you're out there, if you see anyone else, and if you ever happen to mention me, just make sure you use my alias. I'm only telling you my real name because I trust you. All right?
all right.
My real name is William. William Honorel.
She's gonna put a hand on his shoulder and be like, I think I like calling you Locke, though. You look like a Locke.
It can be a nickname if you want it to be, but it's not the name I was born with.
Understood. Try to take care. Put some more meat on your bones.
I definitely will, and don't get yourself killed.
I'll try not to.
First friend I've had in a while. I'd hate to lose you off camera.
What's a camera?
No idea, but you know what I mean.
I guess.
Just make sure I see you again, all right?
Alright, I will. I'll keep that promise.
All right.
Take care.
You too.
She heads out.
I'll give Hollis one more mage hand scritch before he goes for good measure.
Oh yeah.
And I'll
He's gonna be twice your size.
by the time we link up
No,
again.
not even twice. It's probably gonna be like 4 times your size with how scrawny you are.
He's gonna become a fucking horse.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still a runt among dire wolves, so.
Yeah.
So maybe double my size then.
Yeah.
He's still going to be functionally possible to be a mount and be a large creature, but
So,
So-
maybe. Alright, so she's off.
All right.
which way is Riven going to leave town?
Yes.
Yeah.
That way?
That way.
Northwest.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good to know. Alright. So, Locke, you're just chilling in mother's house still?
Pretty much like he's just sitting there after Riven left, and he's just gonna stay there for a while, just quiet and thinking. Because I mean, he's alone now. He's back to square one.
Mother sort of comes up and speaks to you, comes up to you and she's, so, what do you plan to do now?
I don't know. To be honest, I was kind of counting on Riven sticking around so that I'd have some help going to Caverton. I'm not ready to make a trip like that alone.
I didn't imagine that you would be. Maybe you just stick around here for a few more days?
Probably. It's just
But look and see if you...
first time in like it felt like forever. I actually have friends, legitimate friends, but then 2 of them did something extremely stupid, and the group split in half. And now Riven's gone, and the one thing that was actually letting me put on a brave face is gone. All right.
At that point, there is a knock on the library door, and it's not necessarily an anxious knock, okay, but it's a very discernible
You should probably go get that. I'll be up here.
So your mother goes down, answers the door, and for purposes of story and focus being on, Locke. At the moment, we don't see um, who it is. Your mother's sort of standing in the doorway, and she sort of looks back to Locke for a second, and then
I mean, I thought I was up in the attic, so like the door, because
well,
like,
she
that's where
looks
we
back to
slept.
where Locke is up in the attic, but you're still up there.
Right.
And we sort of get the view from like a sort of sideways glance of sorts, and he sort of steps away, and a certain familiar individual makes their way into the library.
Oh.
Indeed, certain dwarf.
Oh. All right.
So
Does Young come up to where Locke is?
no, she doesn't come up to him. She's sort of down on the main floor of the library, and she just sort of looks around the library for a bit, then sort of looks up towards the loft. I'm assuming Locke probably didn't look to who came in the door.
No, I don't even think he has an angle visual on that. He's just up there sitting on the side of. I imagine like because doesn't have Alessandra have a bed set up for him
Yeah.
in the events he's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just sitting on the side of that, just trying to pull himself together because like he's on the verge of having an internal panic attack right now.
Yo, Locke! You hear Young's voice.
Go ahead. Get up and head downstairs. Is it just Young or is Oak there too by chance?
Nope, it's just Young.
Young? Where's Oak?
He's still back in Misty Village.
Did you two get the smack I asked for?
Young sort of. She sort of rolls her shoulder a little bit. Yeah, both of us did.
Good.
Well, Oak stayed behind in Misty Village. He's probably going to remain there for a while.
Probably beating himself up over his stupid mistake.
Well,
Am I...
maybe, maybe not. At least not in the way he used to beat himself up.
You're
Leanne
here, why?
made Christine get rid of all of her supply so that he didn't have access to it.
Well, I didn't even necessarily mean getting high specifically. I know he's self-conscious, at least to an extent.
He'll stick to there for a while. But I wanted to come to Yukiegi where we were stationed to go as a group, and I wanted to apologize for why I had not done it to you typically.
Well, if you wanted to apologize to Riven, you're a bit late. She's gone. Left. Don't know where.
I imagine she may need some time to herself.
Probably. She said she
After
needed to
the-
find answers.
I get that. So, if that's the case, What do you plan on doing? Just hanging out here?
Well, I was planning on going to Caberton because that's where my father might be, and I need to talk to him and get some answers out of him. But then Riven left, and I'm not entirely sure I'm comfortable going with you and Oak right now. Even if it wasn't me you upset, you still did something that very much betrayed the trust of the group as a whole.
That's fair. So maybe we go out and do some sort of quest or other in hopes that we can build some of that trust back. I don't know.
Neither do I.
Trust is not an easy thing for me sometimes. And
Do you think it's easy for me? Out of everyone here, out of everyone I've traveled with since I linked up with Oak and Riven, I only ever actually really trusted one of them. And that was Riven herself, and now she's gone. I trust my mother, but she has to stay here. This is her livelihood. I can't ask her to abandon that. This whole
Well-
situation's just fucked. I, like, slump angrily against the wall, just really frustrated.
you will let me. I'm here to follow you for wherever you want to go. Take a trip to Caberton. See if you can find your dad. They're with you. Chill out here for a while. That too.
There's not really much for me here at the moment. Not much practical at any rate. Fine, then. I'll push away from the wall, kind of dust myself off. Guess it's time to be heading up for Caberton, but touch any of my shit without my permission, I'll turn you to dust, alright?
Learned my lesson the first time.
I should fucking hope so. I'll sort of give Alessandra a nod and go and start collecting my shit.
Ready? Young basically sort of leans up against the wall outside of the... She sort of leaves you to your privacy to get all your stuff together and sort of steps outside and leans against the wall next to the door.
Alright. Now, once I got my shit together, got all my stuff packed up and in my backpack and whatnot, I'll stop briefly by Alessandra, give her a look. When I find him, is there anything you want me to ask him? I have 1,000,001 questions of my own, but you were the one that knew him first. You were the one who fell in love with him. Is there anything you want me to say to him?
I think the only thing that I would want to know see himself carrying about.
What was that? You kind of cut out for a sec.
I would like to know if he could see himself caring about you.
I'll be sure to ask him.
That
So just to make sure I got that right, my character's mom wants me to ask Frederick if he could ever find it in himself to care about Locke.
Yeah.
I'm heading out then. I'll give her a quick hug. And don't ask me to be careful. You know I will. It's one thing I was ever good at back in Sevenora.
Take it that means you're just going to take the long way down.
I don't necessarily want to get in trouble by appearing in the middle of a place I'm not allowed to be in and get chucked in a cell. Reflect badly on me, and then I'd have to break out, and then I'm a wanted fugitive in more than one place, and one is more than enough, thank you.
I'll be here whenever
Besides-
you come back.
All right. And if Riven comes back, let her know where we went. All right?
Yeah.
Thanks. And I'll head out. All right. We're heading out, Young. Come on.
All right. So we're going to Caverton, is what we're doing?
We're going to Caberton. Primary stop will be the central city, and with any luck, the dungeons, where, if my mother's scrying spell is anything to go off of, my father is being held. And I'll get a chance to talk to him, finally figure out what the hell he was thinking.
Do you want to kind of want to just start over, since I made such a horrible mistake before?
We are starting over, and that means you'll learn what I trust you to know. And only when I trust you to know it, no sooner, no later. Prying me for information will only make me trust you with it less.
Do you mind so much if we stopped in the tavern for a moment?
If you must, but if you get wasted, I'm leaving without you.
And we'll make their way down
Yep.
to the tavern itself. Sort of
Locke will
step
just kinda-
inside.
Locke's just kind of going to hang out by the door and wait.
Right.
So I will give the room a quick scan, see if anything stands out to me as particularly interesting.
Perception check.
Right. That's a 19.
Stepping in, sort of giving a cursory glance inside with the high roll of 19. You see that off in one corner, there is a sort of cloaked figure. High roll of your 19 sort of reveals to you that this individual appears to be a drow. And they are sort of sitting off into one corner of the room, and sitting off in another corner of the room, you see would Locke know what Asimar's?
No.
Probably
The
not.
Azamars look exactly the same as normal human beings. The only thing you might notice is scales on the back of her hands. That's it.
Oh yeah. But yeah, with the high roll of 19, you see an individual in robes, appears to be a drow in nature, and then in the other corner of the room you see a female individual that's, for all intents and purposes, looks mostly human. But you see the scales on the back of her hands as she is, well, I'm not entirely sure what she is doing. Sipping a drink, as it were.
And what is Young doing?
Young, she steps in. She goes to the tavern, the barkeep, the Vidalkin from before. And she Actually, with your high roll of 19 and it's an open doorway, you pick up on what she says as she steps up. And she sort of speaks to the Vidalcan, and she's so, I have this, and she holds up a little remnants of a. At first, Locke thinks it's a quest because it's just like a piece of parchment, and then she sort of sets it to the table, and the Vidalcan's like, that way, and points off to the side, pointing to the individual with the sort of scale on the backs of her hands. And Young sort of looks back to Locke, seeing that he actually looked into the room, though he didn't step in. And she's sort of holds up her hands in a sort of peaceful, a sort of gesture of, you know, not going to do this without you. I would prefer to let you know.
So she's like flagging me down, essentially.
Yeah, kind of.
I will use awakened mind. What?
So mental communication, because that's the thing I can just do.
Right, I know. She's. Oh yeah, kind of forgot you could do that. After what had went down, and considering that we are starting over, I would like to have someone else to go along with us. Complete stranger, essentially. To see if perhaps we could build trust, maybe not with each other, but with her. Give you someone else to protect you other than somebody untrustworthy like me.
Everyone's untrustworthy till they prove otherwise. If you want to bring someone else along, then fine. Same rule that applies to you applies to them. No touching my crap.
I would hope she wouldn't, but I will relay that. And Young will walk over to the individual that you found this posting for. Yep. There we go.
Knives has rejoined the game.
Haha! I am back.
Woohoo! This has been really awkward. It's just me for the last 30 minutes.
Oh, sorry, I'm back. Ah,
Is it clear how frustrated Locke is?
I would
yes.
imagine so.
Good, 'cause
So
I'm trying
real
to-
quick,
Yes.
so I don't have to type this. Did Young come in earlier and stuff with the job posting? That's why she knows how which person to go to.
She had picked up the job posting before she went to Locke. Picked it up from the quest board before she went to Alessandra's house.
Okay, so she went to the quest board, then she came to the tavern, then she went to Locke.
She went to. Here's the thing. She went to Locke after getting to the quest board. The reason she knows who to go to here is because she showed the job posting to the Vidalcan barkeep, and he pointed you out.
Oh, just now.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. She knows.
Sorry, I was like paying attention to something else because I was like, da 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 da. I'm not here.
Because you were in the same boat as Kenneth. You were in parentheses not here.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
So.
Yeah, he knows
This
she
is
knows who to
So-
go to because you were pointed out to her.
And so basically, it's just this really pretty lady wearing like a tunic that's like rolled up sleeves and stuff, black pants, knee-high boots. She kind of is lounging back with her like feet up on the table, kind of like leaning back and stuff, just sipping her drink. Stuff, and when she moves the mug out of the way and stuff, she has freckles of silver scales across her cheeks and nose.
Yeah.
And then, of course, white eyes with black rings around them.
Locke is just gonna let Yang handle the conversation here.
He's not even in the tavern.
He kind of has visual on it. I kind of imagine him like leaning against the door frame or like against the wall inside. It's kind of what I was picturing him doing, so that he could keep tabs on Young and make sure she didn't start getting wasted.
Yeah, my character's just like looking at Young as she walks up, like, yes.
Hello. Job
Evening.
posting for what was it? To sort of looks back to the job posting itself. Traveling Guardian for hire.
Yes.
Well, me and my companion went off to Locke, leaning against the door frame.
She looks at Locke and waves.
He kind of nods.
Me and my companion
Oh.
there are going to be taking a trip down to south to Caberton, and are likely to get into some form of trouble along the way. And I was wanting to.
So the 5 silver is reasonable price for you?
Yeah, it is. What did you say? 5 silver a day? Was it?
5 silver a day, yes.
She
And it's just to Gabberton? Or would you be needing my services further? Maybe.
if you choose to hang around, would you have to get your payment in actual gold or silver, or would this suffice for a couple days? And she holds up a 10 gold gemstone. Because she still has that where she didn't liquidate it before.
How many days is it to Gabberton from here?
Well, I need to get the
Map.
yardstick on the overworld map to have a look at that.
Yeah.
Map. Hold on.
Because I'm thinking if that's the case, that's only enough to pay until Durvel. Not Durvel.
Right now.
The other town. Rydell, yeah. Only enough to pay there because it's 10 silver. Oh, no, it's a 10 gold. You said
6.
10 gold?
Yeah.
10
get
gold
it.
gemstone.
Okay, hold on. So that would be 500 silver.
10 gold.
What?
Wait. 10 gold gemstone. One. It's 2.
I thought it was. I thought it
It's
was
10 silver per gold.
10 silver per gold.
So
So
in other
if
words,
it's
20 days, I believe that would cover 20 days if I'm doing my head math
Yes.
correctly.
That'll be 20 days.
and
Okay, yeah, that might be enough.
it is using the map 4, 6, about 5. It's roughly 9 days from here to Caverton, following the road.
Just 9 days.
Give or take, if you don't necessarily follow the road the whole way through, but roughly about 9 days.
I'll survive.
You can keep the whole gold. If you decide you want to leave early on, fine too. I'm essentially paying for your services at a rate of 20 days per, or I could give you actual gold if you want to do that as well.
I'll take that. It's a 10 gold gem.
10 gold gem.
Okay.
Which,
We'll take
for
it.
what it's worth, Silver already has one of those. She just doesn't necessarily know it's a gem.
Nope, it's just
The shiny rock. This particular gemstone looks a lot
the
like that
pretty
shiny
red
rock. It's just a
that-
different
or
color.
Pretty red stone that's like the size of our hand. Anyway.
This particular gemstone looks a lot like that. It's just a slightly different color.
Huh.
All right. Well, I don't know how you fight per se, but we'll be ready whenever you are, I guess.
Give me about an hour. I should be ready then. And she holds out her hand for the gem.
And Young hands it off, and she sort of looks off to Locke. Can you chill out here an hour more?
Sure. Awakened minding it.
Young nods. Not getting an answer to, from Silver's perspective, not getting an answer to her question, but she nods.
Silent type.
All right. And chilling there in the tavern.
Silver gets like up and then goes up to what her renting room was and gather her things. There's a reason why it could be like an hour.
Yep. All right.
So should we skip that hour?
Sure,
Oh, yeah.
Locke's just waiting. Unless someone approaches him, he is not going to be starting any conversations because he's just kind of fed up right now.
Which is fine. So skipping ahead a little bit, Silver
I
is
am
ready.
actually very curious. Can I roll something to like for Silver to do like eyeing that drow off to the side? Because
So
that really caught my attention.
That shit ain't
you can roll
normal.
perception if you want to notice the. Well, you've been in the tavern, so you've seen the robed individuals.
Yeah, and stuff, and she's just very curious about like, what is this drow doing here?
Yeah, I mean, you could walk over and talk to them if you want to, either after you
No,
gear or
not
before you get
doing-
it.
No, I want to do like. I'm getting at an insight check. Just like, what can I get
okay.
from?
Yeah. Insight. Go right ahead.
20.
Okay.
Do I get that they're up to no good here?
The general vibe that you get from this drow individual is they're sort of curious and watching the crowd, what little bit of the crowd is left after the festival. And they seem kind of bored, basically, for lack of a better way to put it. They're sort of taking it that they're keeping to the shadows, and they haven't really felt like they've seen anyone interesting.
Okay.
As far as being up to no good, they're
They're just bored.
just mostly bored.
Okay. Well, Eventually, Silver comes out, like downstairs, in her half plate armor.
Ah. Young sort of looks you over. That is why it took a while.
It is quite hard to put it on by yourself. Because you see, you gotta like kind of twist this way to reach this latch back here. It's
Yes.
slight pain. Anyway,
Well, I guess in a
Shall we?
combat situation, you're definitely going to get your degree of fun.
your money will be good put to good use, I can assure you. Shall we?
Yeah. And what was your name again? Was your name written on the thing?
Ira.
I don't think it was.
No. My name is Ira. Ira Silverstein.
All right. Youngerlin. She sort of holds out her hand to you.
She shakes it.
And you see that Silver, having seen this for the first time, Youngerlin has. At first, it looks sort of like just gauntlets, but as you go to shake your hand, you see that she has discernible blades.
The claw.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
You see that she has a bladed weapon associated with her gauntlets.
She punches shit to death.
And
She still doesn't know that.
this is Locke.
Hello.
Evening.
All right. We all good to go then?
Yep. Road.
All right. Let's cut a trail.
And Locke will like take point for the change and start leading the way.
Locke has taken point to lead the way.
I mean, he knows where he's going, and he has very good reason to get there. So yeah, he's heading up the pack.
Mm-hmm. So
Uh,
off we go.
Unless
Dark.
Silver wishes to be in the back herself, Young will sort of focus to going to the back.
She's just following leader. So she doesn't know where to go, so she's just following.
Well, she knows where where we're going, but anyway.
Yeah, she knows the end destination and stuff, so she's just following, because don't know which path they want to take.
Yep. Sticking mostly to the road.
Yep, sticking to the road.
Alrighty then. Head down south. Making your way to either Rydell or Misty Village or wherever you decide you want to go.
Tempted to stop in at Misty Village and check in on Oak or see if he wants to tag along, but Locke is still very salty and very frustrated and very much in a mood, so no. So
For what it's worth,
he
if
doesn't even bring it up, so
fair enough. So, sort of a tense but awkward silence among the group unless Silver wishes to speak up about anything specific.
I mean, isn't Silver supposed to be a lot more social than Riven?
Yes, she's probably gonna be like, so, Captain, is there a particular reason we're going to Copperton?
Someone there I need to see.
Are we planning to make any stops along the way?
Depends on if we need to. But I'd rather get to Caverton sooner than later.
Okay.
Look, I'm sorry if I'm being short with you, but I've had an extremely rough few weeks.
It's not my place to, you know. Oh gosh, what's the term?
It's not your place to pry.
Yes. Sorry, that was actually my brain farting right then.
I know the feel.
Yes, so in character she said it's not my place to pry.
Yes. Alright. So, with that simple but effective dialogue exchange.
As out of character, as we're sort of passing by where Misty Village is, does Yong bring up Oak in any way?
Herself? No.
Eh.
Once you are to get there, that is. Are the watches in any particular order or the same order, even though it's silver and not ribbon?
I mean, the entire group composition has changed, so I'll say I'll let Locke take first watch.
Right. Would you prefer second?
Or just fill up any lock.
Huh?
What?
That
Well, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I was saying that Silver would take up any watch that you would want her to take up.
all right. In that case, Silver will get middle watch because Young will take last watch.
Okay.
Perception checks, people.
Sure.
15.
9.
9.
Did 4. Yay. Okay.
This is
Alright.
off to a good start.
So, 15. You sort of, Locke, you're sort of keeping to yourself, of course, first watch. You happen to glance up just above you, and you see another similar to what Riven had seen last session. And Locke is smart enough, having seen these before, and he rolled a decent check. You see a flying harpy individual go probably 30-40 feet above your head.
I will pay very close attention to it.
Okay. It seems to be flying along the road, though up here, about 60 feet. And it sort of wavers and stops. Kind of hovers, but flying creatures such as a harpy can't really hover per se. So,
So it's more kind of gliding in short, narrow circles then?
yeah, sort of. And then sort of flies on and continues to head north in the direction that you had just came from.
I'll pay it no further mind.
And you're the only one who sees that. And then following the next day comes in. You continue heading your trek down. I don't know if there's any particular significant things that wants to be said by Silver or anyone else. As I said, as you pass the forest for Misty Village down here, Young mentions nothing of Oak or even going to see him. And I'm not even going to bother to give you watches for the next bit. There's not a whole lot going on, at least for the next couple days. But
Does Silver try to start any other conversations as we're going?
No, so it's just like any general conversation. She'll engage, but she
think-
understands keeping her
I think
distance.
Silver, even with her, more social aspect, she's trying to learn the group, and she very quickly gets a general sense that Locke is the type to just be. And I don't think she's going to, speak up to try to get him to talk when she knows he doesn't really want to talk.
Yeah, he's kind of tunnel visioning, just trying to do this one thing. So
Yeah.
Alright. Following that, you come down and you're closer to the edges of Misty Village and this river, lake down here. Nightly watch, once again, perceptions as before.
that's a 2.
Another perception roll.
Yep.
9.
9.
Again. Okay.
Roll it 2 more times, and I can make the joke.
So. Well. Alright then.
We all die, don't we? We're ambushed
No.
in the middle of the night, and we all die.
No. Yeah. Night is peaceful. Not a whole lot going on. And morning comes. Start making your way again. Once again, this time not for watches, but in only Riven or Silver and Locke. In this particular trek, as you're starting to make your way and you're closer to Rydell, make me another perception roll.
Nat 20.
There we go. Perception roll for Silver again.
Hey. Nope, that is persuasion. 11.
Nope, not a 9. Alright. So,
Joke. It is half finished.
Yeah.
as you're making your trek down, in this particular day, Locke with your nat 20 perception roll.
Holy shit.
Yes. It's, even with the nat 20 roll, it's still super subtle because she's making every effort to not be extremely vocal about it. But Young is humming something. She's just humming a tune. It's not one that you've heard her hum or anything before. She's just sort of humming something.
Sort of.
So Silver wouldn't know it. Wouldn't hear it.
I'll
Silver
kind
didn't
of
hear it.
glance. I'll kind of glance back at Young and use Awakened Mind to point out.
Never took you for the humming type.
No, I can't. It was a catchy tune that I heard bits and pieces of last night. Camp. I didn't want to go investigate and potentially end up waking everyone up, but it was just it was music. And I remember the last time we heard music and went to investigate it, so definitely not. But
Last time there was music and we went to investigate, we kicked ass, but alright.
we did, but it's fine, I suppose. It was just this sort of, it felt appropriate because it's a sort of melancholy tune.
Oh, sure, bring the group's spirits down even more. I don't mind.
What's going on?
It's
Because, like, as far as you're concerned, we're just staring at each other as we're walking.
Yeah, she's just like looking between the two, like, what? You two okay?
Do you mind if she knows?
I look at Silver and use Awaken Mind. I can talk into your brain, and then I turn back to Yong.
Oh, okay.
And now that that cat's out of the bag, we'll just point out, all right, well, if you want to keep humming, go for it, I suppose.
Sorry.
Yeah.
And having done that, you get closer to Rydell. Young sort of looks to Locke and she's, I'm assuming you don't want to go through, you want to go around.
Whatever's faster,
Faster would be around.
then we're going around.
Then we've made our way down here. And before you get even remotely close, you sort of cut across the road down that way. Cut across the open clearing down that way. Yeah. And having achieved that element of things, with even though Silver is more social, she's smart enough in social situations to know that Locke does not want to talk about stuff. Neither does Young. So
Yeah, like Locke is tunnel visioning right now.
Like, if it doesn't have anything to do with him just getting to Caberton, it can fuck off.
So, having said that, make your way down. Silver, make me a perception roll again.
Sure.
Uh-oh. You have a +1, I don't, so.
5.
God damn it, I should have rolled.
Yeah.
I mean, you can if you want to.
Sure. Why not? 16? I'm tunnel visioning. Why am I so much more aware?
Okay. So you bed down, getting ready for the night. You're maybe still a few more days off. You're sort of at this little area down this way. The closest you've been to Caverton, relatively speaking, because you know it's in the south down here. And you're getting ready to bed down for the night. Yong is taking. I think I had said that Yong took last watch previously. But in this particular instance, Yong is taking middle watch since Silver was fine watching whenever, and you go to wake. You're essentially going to wake up Yong for her watch, and you see in amongst her belongings the tiny little stuffed animal doll that you missed previously.
Oh.
And it's Yong is actually, when you come to her, Yong is actually sort of holding it against her. She had made an effort to try to hide it in and amongst her robes and stuff, but you succeeded in spotting it.
Oh, that's adorable.
By 1 point, by the way.
Nice. Oh,
Um,
that's adorable.
And
Do you really say that to her?
I say I'm not loud enough to wake her up. Like, I'm just muttering that under my breath when I notice the doll.
Oh, okay.
and Yong is still asleep, Um, and so did you say that out loud?
I'm whispered it under my breath, not loud enough to wake anyone up. Just, like, oh, that's adorable. That kind of thing. Really quiet, really soft. More just a
Okay.
whispering to myself.
Yeah. But you're close enough to spot it on Yong
Yep.
as you're waking you up. And so, having said that, the doll, in a voice coming from the doll that is not Yong's but is feminine. Sorry, Locke.
What?
The doll, in a voice that's not Yong, says, "I'm sorry, Locke."
Locke is going to hesitate at that point. What?
You do have detect magic.
Yep, I'm going to do that. I am going to use Eldritch Sight and just see what the fuck is going on with that. Detect magic.
Alright. The doll is magical. It has a, it's not exactly specific in the actual item which one it is, so it's somewhere between transmutation and conjuration magic. About the doll.
Huh. I'll kind of crouch down a bit and tap Yang on the back of the head a few times with Mage Hand until she wakes up.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey, your doll just talked at me.
Oh. Okay.
Is it supposed to do that?
Yeah. I had, honestly, I had said it several days ago, months ago, to try to creep you out if you, and it was triggered by you speaking in its presence, I guess. Magic on this thing is weird. Yeah, sorry. And she goes to...
Well, it definitely creeped me out, I'll give it that. You have any idea how unsettling it is for a doll to suddenly look you right in the eye and say things? They're not supposed to do that. It's like something you find in a haunted house.
Yeah.
So good on you, you got that right. Now then, it's your watch. I'm gonna go sleep and try to avoid having nightmares about scary dolls and old rickety houses. And Locke is gonna go and into his bedroll that once upon a time he was worried might have been haunted himself. Thanks to Riven.
He collapsed into the meat bag he is.
Alrighty.
Collapsing into himself. I thought he was in a meat bag. There's not enough meat on him. He's a bone bag, if anything else.
Oh yeah, that's right. So it's just be clanking.
Rattle, 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 sploosh.
Alright.
What the fuck are we doing?
I don't know.
Having done that, you make your way. No one else wants to say anything specific. You have made your way to Caverton proper. And, having never been here, Locke, it has been roughly 9 days. For Silver's benefit.
So about half a silver, a little under half a silver's payment.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And Caverton has some high castle walls,
Yeah.
among
And-
other things.
And Silver is nervous.
Is Silver visibly nervous?
I mean, if you like actively look at her face, you can slightly tell there's slight
Oh, yeah.
nervous. Yeah, you can tell she's nervous.
22 insight, yep. Let's see if Yong can see it. Probably not. Yong's insight sucks.
17.
That's
Yeah,
17.
she would. It's like she is nervous.
Something wrong?
It's been a while since I've been to Caberton.
I've never been to Caberton.
Me neither. I
Anything
thought
we should
Rydell
know?
was bad. Good grief. Oh,
Don't do anything stupid, is all I can say.
and Locke, in particular with Caberton, you have yet again something else to be terrified by.
No, really.
Uh-huh.
Giant ballista. Wink.
When you get to Caberton proper, similar to Rydell, where you had the sort of gated guard post and toll setup and stuff like that, there is in fact a toll place set up similar to Rydell's. Except this time, instead of being a pair of human guards sitting there waiting for the toll, you find yourself looking at one human guard, and the other guard is a big, tall, 7.5-foot Loxodon elephant person.
Oh,
Yeah, Silver's gonna put her hood up on her cloak.
that is a tall person.
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Oh, joy.
And Locke would also obviously the discernible anatomy of this individual being an elephant person.
Elephant
So.
person.
Big burly, leathery trunk, horns, whole works.
I go to the human.
Yeah. And to make matters
You look at the elephant like, no, and then go
to make matters worse, for the intimidating factor, this elephant guard, is in half plate.
Oh Jesus!
Really glad I wore my brown pants today.
All right.
20
So,
enemy ships on the horizon. Bring me my brown pants.
so you step over to the human guard, and he gives you a nod. Welcome to Caberton. If you wish to step through, it is a toll of simply 2 gold a person. You can make your way on inside. Are you just passing through, or are you looking for anything specific? Also, Caberton is huge, not just with the castle walls. You guys can discern that from where you are.
I have some personal matters to address visiting family.
Silver's gonna lean over to Young while Locke is talking to the guard and be like, so, I don't actually have any gold on me anymore?
Not a problem.
Okay, thank you.
I have 99 platinum, so I'm just gonna chuck one of them at the guards. Like,
So, since Silver has been here before, would you happen to know a decent tavern or inn?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of them.
what
She's
time?
gonna...
What time is it in universe, by the way?
Probably about 4 or 5 p.m. ish. By the time you got here.
Is there one close by?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They usually post up a tavern near most of the doorways and whatnot. There's a tavern like right here, say in this little block.
Okay. So, yeah. So anyway, we go in.
There is a tavern relatively close, regardless of which block it is specifically in. There is a tavern relatively close. And coming into this city, much like Rydell, with the placement of all sorts of different melting pot of races and various individuals and such, orcs, or well, not orcs, half orcs, humans, halflings, pretty much every race that's in the PHB and extended Ravnica races and whatnot. There's a what is it? Starts with a V. It's like a reptilian person. It's almost like a dragonborn, but not really.
Mhm.
And you know, there's even a person who appears to be mostly elven that randomly glides from one building to the other. Whoosh.
Okay.
Oh,
Because Psymic is a thing.
All right.
Similar to the human in the tavern back in Yukiegi that had gills.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you make your way... you make your way to a tavern relatively close to the gates. Real fancy, well, fancier than what Yukiegi was, though not quite as fancy as the creme de la creme tavern that you spent in Rydell. This seems
Just
to be
because
somewhere
that was
between.
Vegas.
Yeah, I mean Rydell was Vegas. This is New York, so you've sort of come into the tavern area, and it is a half orc tavern barkeep. Sort of greets you, welcomes you in. It's always nice to see a few new faces among the crowd.
Huh. All right.
Gives you a big
Mhm.
smile.
Just
So
Oh, did we notice any guards on the way to this tavern? Other than
yeah,
the ones.
there's guards meandering all over the place, sort of patrolling, keeping the peace
Did
in
any of
sorts.
them have a certain, like, symbol on them or anything?
Roll perception.
I thought we were done
Sure.
with my leaky.
No, this is something else.
Uh-oh.
Similar premise though.
Yeah, kind of. Nope.
6. Nope, you don't see
She's
any.
just like, she's focusing. It's like, okay, let's get to the tavern. Let's just go.
Nope, you rolled a
Wait.
6. Nope, you don't see any. Having made your way into the tavern, do you just get a room?
Just,
Uh,
just getting a room, maybe grabbing some food for us so that we can spare our rations a bit. Oh, and I'll actually restock on my rations because that was a 9-day trip, and I had 10 days of rations, so I am now down to 1 day of rations.
All right.
So I'll buy food to compensate for that.
That's fine.
Here, single day of rations is equal to 5 silver. So give me a second here.
Alrighty.
So I'm spending 9 gold essentially to bolster myself up back to 10 days of rations.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I'll pretty much just blow another silver or another platinum on that.
Yep. All right. So,
Yep.
um,
And an in-room and food for us.
Yep. Okay.
do either of you bother to look around the tavern that you're in?
Silver definitely is.
Perception, silver.
You know, Locke's kind of doing it passively.
Hey,
but like
16.
Good job.
Locke's kind of doing it passively, but it's not like his priority. He's just eager to eat and get some rest so he can be mentally prepared for tomorrow. 14.
All right. Okay. So, in this tavern, it's not a whole lot. It's not super crowded. It's a bit more crowded than like a smaller tavern usually is, but sort of comes with the size of this area because this tavern's a bit bigger. Clearly has a lot more rooms than what you're accustomed to in like smaller towns like Yukiegi. And looking in this amongst the tavern goers, you see a somewhat cloaked individual
Is
with
it
your
another
6.
drow?
No. Um, this one's not necessarily a dark cloak. This isn't somebody that's trying to hide. This is just someone that's in a sort of gray teal sort of colored cloak. And from what you can see of his features, he appears to be dragonborn.
Hmm.
Specifically, of the color I gave him. I'm going to mess my dragons up because I looked it up a couple days ago and I totally forgot to write it down because I'm an idiot. Anyway, he is effectively a appears to be a blue dragonborn.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Slight eyebrow twitch from Silver.
It should be noted that Silver, that eye twitch is probably about to get a lot more significant
Oh,
Oh,
God.
yeah.
because
Good.
he's staring
That's
at
gonna
you.
Okay, does he notice anything? Well, do I notice anything else about him? Just that he's wearing a cloak and he's a blue dragonborn
And is staring at you.
and staring at me?
He is. Um,
She takes a few deep breaths and then she goes back and tries to pay attention to whatever these two are doing and be like, okay, stay calm.
I mean, Locke's just eating.
Locke would notice the dragonborn as well. And he's sort of be looking closer intently to Silver.
And she's just sitting there with her hood up and just like,
Now, for me, purposes of DM, uh, was which was it the colored dragons that were all mostly the bad ones?
the chromatic ones, which are the solid colors, the red, the blue, the blacks, the whites.
Those are the dicks. It's the metallic
Those,
ones who are usually a bit more varied in their alignment.
yeah,
usually
that's
more
why I
interesting
picked
shit.
silver, because they're friendly and very interested about people
Okay, so
and ice. So
what is the Okay, yeah, he's a blue dragonborn. That's fine.
I assume Locke notices that Silver is anxious and the Dragonborn is staring at her.
there was like an eye twitch, but she's like, try to stay calm, everything's okay.
I will use the Awakened Mind to just ask her, "You okay over there?"
Yeah, I'm just.
You look
I don't
how
know.
I
I'm
imagine.
not.
You look how I imagine I did when I was walking by that giant elephant guard at the gates.
I'm not scared. I'm just.
Your eyes twitching.
But it happens when I find myself in maybe slightly not preferred company.
Did you do something to piss the people here off?
Hmm?
Did you do something to piss off the people here?
No, but I know there are some things wrong with this town.
You know, I asked you before we left if there was anything we should know, and all you said was don't do anything stupid. I get the feeling that may have been underinforming us a little bit.
Look, this is the capital of this place. You can expect corruption, murders, intrigue,
Yeah, great.
stuff.
So just
Just simple normal things stuff. But
so
me, it's a
Dixon
little bit
High.
more. It's a little more deeper for me.
Hmm.
She sits there and pulls out like a little holy symbol. It's of a gauntlet, and on the back of the gauntlet is actually an eye that's blue.
Will Locke recognize this symbol?
Religion.
Okay.
No.
That's a natural one.
You know, religion exists.
Yep.
I know one or two things about one or two gods, but this one, yeah, you're gonna have to give me a history lesson here.
Okay. I worship the god Helm and stuff. I'm from a temple over to the west. Some bad things happened there, and I know that from before when I was growing up there that we usually supplied clerics, paladins here
Hmm.
when need be. So yeah, I'm a little nervous being here and stuff because of some things. Like I'm not on good terms with that temple anymore.
I see. Well, I just try not to cause a ruckus, and it should be fine. With any luck, my business here can be concluded by the end of tomorrow.
Well, would you be needing my services?
I'll definitely need someone to lead the way because I don't know my way around this city.
Okay. Is there a particular place you're looking for?
Whoever,
Every now and then, Silver is actually like glancing at the Dragonborn, just trying to make sure that
I like
see
how we're
what they're
just.
doing.
I like how we're just impulsively, constantly saying Riven instead of Silver.
Yep.
Did I say Riven? I thought I said Silver.
You started to, but then you
Oh.
quickly corrected yourself. Like that's been the pattern. We start to say Riven, remember? Oh shit, Riven left. And it's like Silver.
We'll eventually get there.
Just in time for
Silver's gonna
Riven
be
to
here
come
a
back.
while.
All right.
Yeah. Silver will be here for a while.
Anyway,
Anyway,
anyways,
yeah.
well, first and foremost, whoever I would talk to for being allowed to visit someone in the dungeons.
Now, would I?
Silver, can you help me get in prison?
I don't think I need help getting in prison. I need help going in there without being in chains. Going to the proper.
So you need to visit someone in prison.
Yeah.
Do I know where there's like? Is there multiple smaller prisons, or like a big actual like city prison?
The
That's
the
just a giant
primary
dungeon under the
prison.
castle.
The primary prison
Because
is.
I figured like small guard houses everywhere has like maybe one or two cells.
They have little
like holding for
cells.
drunk people.
They have little cells at like the guard posts and things, but the prison cell that Alessandra saw was essentially the
Which
castle
I would know
dungeon.
nothing of.
Which you wouldn't. But the castle.
I would just know of the.
You know, guard
Go on,
posts
the
have
castle.
small prison cells.
Okay, and then any other? The main one is towards the castle.
Yeah, the main one's part of the dungeons in the castle.
Well, I mean, there's multiple guard posts with small cells and for like holding, and then there's a main prison over at the castle.
Probably the main prison.
Ah. I mean, we can go attempt and see. I don't know how well we'll be able to get you in to talk to someone.
Here's to hoping then.
And I'll cut off the awakened mind link and finish off my meal.
What is this other What's the Dragonborn doing?
He sort of watched you for a moment, and you see him that he sort of scribbles down and writes in like a little notebook that he has on his person at the table with him. And after a moment, when you look towards him, and at that last bit after having awakened mind with Locke for a bit, you sort of look up and see him having finished scribbling something down on a notebook, and he makes his way and leaves the tavern.
I was half tempted to use Awakened Mind to tell him to stop undressing the nice lady with his eyes and just see how he reacted.
Give me a
But no, I
actually, are you going to do that?
I'm not. No. I was tempted, but I don't do it
All right, fair enough.
because I figured that would just cause trouble. Because I imagine that would just cause trouble.
Right.
Perception check, Riven. Or Silver. Darn it.
See, I told you.
18.
Okay. So it's 18 perception. You see when he goes to shut his book and walk away, that he holds his book to his person and makes his way out, and in the corner of his on the back of his notebook is the Helm holy symbol.
Shit. So may I suggest we find another tavern for tomorrow night?
Sure.
Okay. So, shall we get some rest?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm eager to get my business here concluded so I can go home.
Certainly, we can figure that out. So she goes and goes to her room, and if anything, she's gonna actually what kind of furniture is in the room?
I mean it's decently fancy. It's 2 gold a room, so it's decently fancy.
Yeah.
2 gold a room. Yikes.
It has all the standard furnishings of essentially a hotel room. So
Well, then in that case, she's gonna sit there and adjust things and move something to block the door.
More social, just as paranoid.
pretty much, yeah.
No, she just wants to kind of stop anyone from attempting to get
All right.
into her room.
Alrighty. So, having done
She's
that,
not gonna sleep comfortable either. So
no. Having done that, yeah. Locke, you find
Never
yourself
started calling
dreaming
me.
again.
Yep, and it's fine. Let me change my music to Cthulhu music.
You're once again in your that swampy willow tree that you've been ending up in multiple times. And you're once again on that branch with the ever-present eye of Vindsvept that sort of peeks at you from the edges of the leaves.
I will follow the eye.
What is your goal with finding it? What is your goal with finding him?
I want to know why he left. As far as I'm aware, as soon as my mother was pregnant with me, he left. All the hell that we had to suffer as in the aftermath came because of him leaving. Whether or not he actually did the things that happened, whether or not he was responsible is irrelevant. We took the blame for it because he wasn't there to take it himself. Because he was the obvious suspect. I want to know why. My entire life was uprooted because he wasn't there. I need to understand why.
What if you do not like what you find? What if you
I
do
already
not
don't
like
what
what you
little
find?
I know. But at least I'll know the truth. If I like it or not is irrelevant. Life is a bitch, as I know all too well. And I'd rather be disappointed than ignorant. My mother deserves to know why the man she fell in love with dropped out of her life so suddenly anyway. It's not just me who stands to gain from having these answers, it's her. Even if the answers hurt, we deserve to know. Right now, trying to find answers from him is all I have.
What of your friends? What of your
Riven's
friends?
gone on her own little journey, and I know her well enough to know that it's not my place to interrupt or interfere with that. Young and Oak. I hesitate to call them my friends after everything that they pulled, only to earn that trust back. As for Silver, I barely know her. Right now, she's just hired help.
You need to be careful here, Locke. You need to be
A bit
careful
more
here, Locke.
specific. No offense or anything, Vindsvept, but I'm really not in the mood for cryptic riddles this time. I do not have the patience for it.
The people in Caverton not always the people in Caverton you will find what they seem. Unlikely help here. You will find
Still vague as hell.
unlikely
you know that?
help here. Right? And similar to your event where you spoke to your mother, sort of time travel-y weirdness that he did before, you find yourself in a sort of like a bedroom or office, something in between, and you find sitting at the desk to be the blue dragonborn from before, and
You're scrying.
Kinda, sorta. Amazon's doing a spooky thing, is what he's doing.
Spooky.
I'll,
makes you wonder how hard it's going to be for Locke to get scry later.
I will, observe him for a moment, see what he's doing.
He appears to be essentially taking notes.
I will look.
He's looking over paperwork. You have the options to literally look right over his shoulder, so.
Yeah, I'm doing that. I'm looking at his notes. What is he writing down? Can I discern when this is relative to where I am by doing so? Because Vindsvept, time travel fuckery, knowing when this is taking place would be very useful. Like are any of the documents he's looking over dated?
Give me a
Anything
perception roll.
whatsoever that- All right. Or anything at all whatsoever in there that could help me figure out when this is. Relevant calendar. A 14.
He does actually have in his office the medieval equivalent of a calendar. And you see that it shows Elias. That is the month. And Locke knows that as the more common name for it, which is High Sun. And it is essentially August.
Right. And relative to where the present, as I know it, when does that take? Where is
It is August for purposes of Brian's brain. It is August 10th, according to his calendar, and the Midsummer Festival is between July and August. So this, for purposes, this is current day.
Okay, so this is basically today then. All right.
Either current day or tomorrow or something of the sort. Yep.
All right. Is the blue dragonborn writing anything down?
He appears to be making an entry in his notebook, which is in Draconic. which you do not know how to read,
Question.
or
Can
do
I
you?
do a sneaky and use the awakened mind to connect our brains, but not say anything, but like try to listen into what he's thinking, or is that a bit of a stretch?
That's a little odd.
Isn't there like a distance?
At 30 feet.
Yeah, there's probably no chance that he's here with 30 feet. He left the tavern.
Yeah, but at the same time, like Locke he's physically here. Last time this happened, he was able to physically interact with his mom, even though they were separated by distance and time. I lifted up a thing, so
Yeah.
physically here, just not visible.
Wait, so you just lifted up a thing?
Not
In-
not here, but like when I was in.
Okay, so how do you know you're actually there?
Because I was able to do it last time, I assume it must be the same here.
Okay. I just want to see what happens when you do.
Well, I'm
Test it,
not
see if
going.
you're
Well,
actually here.
Well, I'm not going to. What I'll do to test that is I'll actually do the same thing that I did back first time when it was with my mom. I'll sort of think in my head to Emerson's ask, so am I really here? Like, can I interact with this scene, or are you just showing me a thing?
You can do whatever you need to. Or whatever you feel you need. You can do whatever you need to. At that point, the scrawlings on the Dragonborn's papers, that Eldritch Blast energy that you're used to with Ebenwind, sort of phases up the paper, and you see that it's now written in common.
Oh, swanky. I will read it and see what I can discern.
Hey, you just got a dream version of Eyes of the Roomkeeper.
So I can only use that one here. Gotcha. Maybe that'll be the next Eldritch Invocation I pick up when I level up again.
Perhaps.
It would make sense from a character development standpoint.
It would. So, looking over his notes, he speaks about having seen someone that he wanted to. Basically, it amounts to a letter that dictates that he found someone that whoever he's writing this letter to had wanted to see. He describes Silver.
Alright, very tempted to just, like, pull out my bottle of ink if I have it on me, dip my fingers in, just write on the wall, your feud can wait, on the wall.
Oh, gosh.
What?
But I don't know anything about the situation, so,
What can wait?
Your feud can wait. Locke is being impatient, like, I need to get you dead, I don't have time for this. Just, like, go off.
He is very tunnel vision right now. Alright, but I'm gonna see if
Do
like
it.
this.
Do it.
Well, hang on. Locke's waiting first. He's getting information before he does anything reckless.
Okay.
Does the Blue Dragonborn do anything else?
He continues to write in the letter for a bit more, and he speaks of the person being in mixed company, and basically describes Young and Locke.
Alright.
Basically seems to be giving me insight of who to look for.
Alright. At this point, I think I'm going to have Locke just kind of lean down and whisper in his ear, disguising his voice a bit. Just whisper, your feud can wait. And then back up.
Oh, I was hoping for the ink thing.
That would be a bit creepier, so I'm just going to see how he reacts to that first.
Okay.
So how does he react to having me whisper that in his ear?
He jerks up and sort of looks around for a second. Someone there.
I stay absolutely silent.
Blinks. And he moves over to the like basically the edge of his bed, essentially, having folded up the letter, and then he slips it into like the essentially the envelope that he's getting ready to deliver it, hasn't sent it out, and he slips it into his drawer, drawer on the desk, which he then locks. He then places the key on his person as a necklace, and
All right. Well, I'm not fucking with that. So instead,
lays down for the night. And you
is there
still
more
find
parchment
yourself
on
here.
this All right, is there? All right. I guess for a minute I'll carefully go through his documents as quietly as possible and see if I can find anything to indicate why they have such a beef with Silver.
See, finding the previous letter that the guy sent got a hold of, maybe?
I'm just looking through shit, seeing if I can find anything interesting to explain what the hell's going on here.
Roll investigation.
All right. I don't really have anything in that skill. I have more than in perception. 7.
Yeah, not a whole lot. Seems a lot of his important documents are locked in that same drawer that currently got the key around his neck.
All right. All right. Then in that case, I will use his inkwell, and I will write "Your feud can wait" in big, bold, straight letters on the wall over the dresser where he hid the thing. And then I'll look around for anything else interesting in the room. Trying to keep myself quiet. Just let him wake up to that.
Okay. As you start to go through his inkwell, and do all that, give me a perception.
That's a 6.
6. Okay. So, you sit down, get the inkwell, you start to write that, and you've gotten the letters. You've gotten the letters and all scrawled out to where it says, what you wanted to say. And you turn back to look more into the room, and you see a female human walking into the bedroom with it amounts to basically a tray of food, and it clatters to the ground as she sees all this like ghostly writing imagery thing, and then you're back in the tree.
All right.
Oops.
I'll sort of glare up at the eye. Gee, thanks for yanking me away. Real cliffhanger, Vindsvept. Well, then here's to hoping that actually does something productive.
We will see.
You can fuck with time.
We
You
will
already
see.
know, probably.
I had a few ideas of what you can do.
Did I meet you?
I had a few ideas of what you can do.
Ooh, spooky.
Let's just say I enjoy the tunnel. And you're waking up again.
Loud noises coming from Silver's room whenever she gets up. Something being moved.
Like, can we say that that's what Locke wakes up to? Just like he wakes up to the loud noises for moving shit around. Because I'm a heavy sleeper, but that was Evan's when I was dealing with. My shit's well fucked.
Yeah. You wake
guess
up to her
I
moving crap
would
around.
say her room was right next to yours.
All right, I'll head over and knock.
Silver, are you having a conniption in there or something? What?
She opens the door. No, just moving precautions out of the way. Anyway.
Hmm.
So,
They know you're
Alright.
here, by the way.
what?
Helm, the people of whatever, they know you're here. I have this weird thing. Sometimes I can.
Yeah, I
see
figured
through-
that. That's why I had a precaution.
Right.
So,
Yeah, the blue dragonborn dude was writing a letter or something. I don't know. I don't even know who he is.
would she know who it is?
Roll wisdom.
Oh God.
Hmm.
Just
Roll
straight
well.
wisdom?
Wisdom check. Yeah.
14.
In and amongst your like, especially when it started to get into that edges of corruption and whatnot, you do remember seeing a scattering of chromatic dragonborn in and amongst the corrupted crowd, so to speak.
I was very worried about what we had. Yeah, we had an influx of, I don't know, chromatic dragons for some reason.
All right, let's just try and take care of my business here quickly, and then we can get out of this city and you can be clear of all that crap. All right?
Yeah, I would very much like that. Shall we go get Young and then go?
Yes, let's
Like,
go get
now?
yes, let's go get Young and her silly doll.
Dull?
She has a doll. Tease her about it. I'll go over, knock on Young's door. We're heading out. Get your shit.
No answer.
Huh?
There's no answer.
Can I try the door handle? See if it's unlocked?
Yeah, sure. It's not locked.
Oh, she
Is Young-
opens it up.
Is Young in there?
Young's not in there.
I check my shit. Has any of it been tampered with?
Your crap is fine.
I guess she's already up and downstairs?
I head downstairs. Is she down there?
She is. She's sitting at the bar.
Is she
Yeah.
awake?
Is she
When you
wasted?
start coming down the stairs, yeah.
So she's not wasted then?
No.
In that case, I'll go kind of Young.
Hmm?
We're heading out. Do you have your shit?
Yeah.
All right, then we're heading out.
So what are we doing?
We are allowing Silver here to take us to wherever the dungeons are so we can talk to who I need to talk to.
Yeah, which is probably a really stupid idea on my part, but hey, you paid me. Let's go.
We're okay, just gonna check my equipment here. Let's see if I have anything that'll make it harder for someone to like recognize who she is, but I'm not saying anything. Young, do you have anything that'll make it harder to recognize Silver so that you can stop having a panic attack where we're going?
I'm not having a panic attack.
Exaggeration for comedic effect, Silver. It's part of my charm.
Okay. I can see that.
Mm.
Okay.
I don't necessarily have a disguise kit. That's not forte. But
Then I guess we're just gonna have to hoof it. All right. Let's do it.
alright. Suppose you just guys make your way to the castle itself? Castle grounds?
I'm letting Silver lead me where it is she is leading me.
Going to the castle grounds itself, Silver?
Yeah, her hood is up, so by the way, any wisdom checks
Mm-hmm.
or perception checks to make against her is at a disadvantage.
Right, I know.
Okay.
Alright. So,
Yeah, heading towards the prison.
heading towards the castle itself. Castle grounds.
Prison castle. Yeah.
Um,
Sure, let's go see if we can try to get in.
Alright. So, you make your way down. As you make your way to the castle grounds itself, you see more of the Loxodon guards as you're making your way down there.
Oh boy. Okay. That's just fine.
Guards are fine. Helm people are not.
No. Well, there could be some good helm people here, but there are also some corrupted helm people here. It's just you gotta keep an eye out.
So just steer clear of helm people, basically. Got it.
Yeah.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah.
So,
Except me, I'm a good helm person. Just to let you know.
All right. Word for it taken.
Alright. So you make your way down, and get to the guards posts around the castle, which, not just some, but very much most of the postman's guards around the posted guards around the castle are Loxodon.
Jesus Christ, Legolas would have a field day here.
So, approaching the guard
Yes,
post.
and Silver is in the lead. So the guard posts, is it multiple Exodon? That's just basically the guards there.
There's two
Is there
guards
anyone
posted.
that looks more like an authority type? Or
There's two
standing
guards
there?
posted at the post next to the castle walls, or the main castle walls, and
I'm guessing it's closed.
castle gate. Yes, the castle gate is closed.
Okay.
The two guards are Loxodon that are standing in front of the doorway. State your business. Looking to you.
I mean, Silver's in front.
I am
so-
escorting someone here to, on behalf of, saying, a prisoner that you have in your dungeons.
Wish to speak with a prisoner?
I do, specifically.
He does. So,
Is there a specific process to go through to do that, or is that just not allowed?
Do you know, backing up his phrase, which wing of the dungeon is your prison?
I'm afraid I don't actually know which wing. I just know his name is Frederick. Human.
last name.
I'm afraid I don't know his last name, actually. Maybe he went by Honoril, maybe he went by something else. I'm not sure. I just know for sure his first name is Frederick. He's my father, and I want some answers out of him.
You have someone you need to speak with first.
We
Who
should
would that be?
probably not have told him that you were his son.
You have some steps to go through. But should everything become documented, you will be allowed to step in and speak.
All right. Where do I need to go? Just point the way.
Also, I'm like,
Can I do an insight check on these guys?
yeah, same
Sure.
here.
Sure.
I want to see if they'll.
Are they bullshitting us? 21.
12.
So Locke, with your 20, you get the sense that this. Yes, my Mike rolled a natural 1, apparently.
Thank you, Kenneth.
So, anyway, with your 21, you get the sense that this Loxodon individual, though what he is saying is true, in that, with the right credentials and with everything validated, a person can go in and talk to a prisoner. That's perfectly fine. He doesn't seem to think that you're going to have all the necessary steps to get in there.
All right, well, my question still stands. He needs to point the way.
Yes. He then indicates off to the building nearby the guard barracks over here. Not too far away.
Alright.
And you will need to speak the wardens. They will direct you through all the process.
All right.
Right.
Thank you for your time.
And then, unless the Loxodon goes to tell me anything else important, Locke's going to turn and be a line for that.
I guess we go over.
Perception check, Silver.
4.
You're fine.
Okay.
Can Locke perception check too?
Yeah, you would at this point know a little bit more of what to look for.
14.
Not all of them, but there are a decent chunk of the guards post, guards here, that you are able to see, usually on their shields. You see the helm symbol on a lot of their shields. Not everybody, but we'll say maybe 4 out of 6, a little over 2/3 or so, tend to have helm symbols. Some of them don't, but a lot of them do.
I will awaken mind of that to Silver just.
There are a lot of people with helm shields around here.
Yes, because Helm is
Patron deity of this city.
he's the god of guardians.
You
So we
go
go into the
inside.
building.
Go in.
Yes, and Silver at this point is gonna put her hood down, slightly puff out her chest a little bit more, and look like she has authority.
Okay.
All right. So, stepping inside, you see the warden. Who the warden appears to be of mostly human, from what you can tell. There is something about his posture seems a little off because he's not sitting the way a normal person would generally be sitting in the back of an office chair. He's pulling a Marisha. He's got his legs up.
Okay.
Okay, it's like authority walks in. What?
So he's sort of basically squatting and kneeling on the chair for purposes of Kenneth, who doesn't know Critical Role.
It's an interesting way to sit in a chair.
Indeed.
Good evening, good sir.
Hello. How can I help you?
Yes. This boy here is wishing to see some dungeon.
Really?
Yeah.
Apparently his father.
Estranged. Never actually knew him, but I know about him and I want some answers out of him. Can that be arranged?
Perhaps. We'll have to go through some steps.
So I heard. That's why I'm here.
Documentation, paperwork. A little,
A little bureaucracy.
yes.
Is there any way we can make it possibly priority to get this done?
Perhaps there is.
I'm sure we can come to an arrangement. Yes?
Well, taxes and all for this place, shall we say, guardsmen are not particularly paid well.
Oh, I understand fully. It's never easy work for the Guardian.
Is that a attempt at a persuasion check there randomly?
Maybe.
I detected
She's
the
trying to make this
awkward.
go faster for Locke.
I detected the awkward Sam trying to be persuasive.
18?
Oh, nice.
Nice. All right. I will expedite this venture for you to go and speak with your father, or this individual rather. He doesn't know that's your father, unless you said that. Did you say that to him?
Yeah, Silver said so, yeah.
Yeah, and we're looking for this boy's father who's supposedly in this jail.
I can expedite this to allow you to speak with your father. Give me, shall we say, 20 gold under the table.
I'll chuck 3 platinum at his face.
Not at his face.
Well, not at, well, you know what I mean. Like I laid on 3 plat. Ding.
This will do
You're
quite
doing
well.
such great charity work here, good sir. Helping this boy confront his father.
All awakened mind.
Try not to lay it on too thick.
She's like, I have no clue what I'm doing.
I can tell.
Interesting.
I can go faster.
He sort of runs the platinum through his fingers and smiles. Alright, let's get this paperwork done.
Oh, and
And-
also if the awakened mind thing is up still, she's be like, be careful where you throw around that much money.
And he hops down from the chair he's essentially perched on, and you see that he goes through the paperwork and things, and he has when he hops down and he starts to move around more, you notice that he has an extra set of clawed arms underneath his normal.
Well then,
Try not to stare.
is he like Spider-Man waddling around, or like he's staying in the crouched position even as he's going, or is he standing
No,
up
no,
straight?
he just when he's in when he's still he's crouched, but when he moves moves more natural, so to speak. But he does have the forearms thing like a Spider-Man type character would. And
Locke
he
know what this is. Does Locke know what this guy is?
roll history.
History, or just straight up intelligence, because I don't have 18.
Not bad.
Yeah, you do. Did you see the were you one of the characters that noticed the gills on the barkeep? Do not.
No, that was Riven.
Driven. But you did see the ever-present glide of a person across the thing. This is what's known as essentially the Simic hybrids.
Right,
It is
cyborg.
individuals that have other, like, they're basically people that have been mutated a little bit in various ways to give them animal features, animal aspects, usually in the vein of something either aquatic or mammalian, typically.
All right. Interesting. So that answers why that guy was squatting then. He's a weirdo.
It might just be some nature to his personality.
All right.
And
So, what's he doing?
he brings over the paperwork, basically gets you to go through and sign. It's clear from the paperwork that there's probably 5-6 different papers and things that you have to sign, but he just gives you all the bare bones with specifics of what you need.
And I'll go through that.
And he gives you the go ahead that you can get in, and you get the warden's name on the paperwork, which I will give you later. I need the specifics on the names. I was kind of hoping some more stuff would happen before you actually got to the warden individual, but whatever. It's fine. And making your way there,
Making our way back, I guess.
making your way through all that, and yeah, give me a perception check, both of you.
Ah, jeez. 11.
Riven or Silver. Grr.
See?
I know.
Doing it
Oh,
still.
perception for silver.
Perception for Silver.
He did say both of us.
11.
11. Yang,
Okay.
does Yang have anything for this?
Yeah,
This is true.
she's here.
Kind of forgot her for a minute because like Locke's like taking front and center along with Silver making an ass of herself, trying to be diplomatic.
9.
That's a 9.
Not diplomatic, trying to bribe people.
All right. So
It's like, okay, you can kind of get things done faster if you attempt to bribe.
11 is good enough.
I'll take
This
it.
particular character wasn't necessarily being super stealthy about it, and she's a bit of a klutz anyway, so it's fine. As you're going through, signing the bare bones paperwork, you see coming into the room amongst with this warden individual, you see a relatively young looking female. She's actually another dragonborn, female this time. And
Great.
in this particular instance, she is a her skills aren't quite as pronounced as Silver's, But she is a silver dragonborn, like Silver is.
Wait, her scales are not. She's a dragonborn. Her scales are present and pronounced.
Well, her scales are not necessarily as luscious and shiny as yours are.
Oh, right.
Either
She's
way,
a little
lizard tits.
She's a little bit more rough and tumble, as it were.
Okay, that's fine.
She has more
Silver
pronounced.
slightly perks up a little bit.
She has slightly more pronounced scales than you, but yours sparkle. Hers doesn't.
In the right light, they sparkle.
Yes, in the right light, yours sparkle. In the same light, hers don't.
Okay.
So she comes in, and she sees the guardsman, or the warden, and you guys talking to him, and she's, oh, sorry, I didn't know you were meeting with somebody. Sorry. Have you gotten anywhere with, finding if, what I talked about before? Told you. Nothing that I can do. The warden, as he's going through your paperwork, kind of absent-mindedly shrugging her off.
Is this
Silver
an
shoots her a
employee
smile.
or a civilian type thing?
Hmm?
Is the Dragonborn a civilian lady, or is she like an actual employee here? Like, is she in uniform, or does she just look like a...
She is in a sort of an archivist sort of uniform.
Okay. Silver definitely shoots her a smile.
Of course she does.
Hey. It's a
so-
silver dragon. She's being friendly towards her.
So, she sort of speaks to him, and then he shrugs her off, and she catches your smile and gives a smile back to you, and then she's, alright, I'll leave you alone. Then she heads on back outside, and when she does, she'll actually sort of clip the doorway with her dragonborn tail. Doesn't hurt herself, doesn't hurt the door. It just sort of makes a discernible louder sound than she was expecting, and she and she goes on. Yeah.
So we're just patiently waiting for the paperwork.
Yeah, doesn't take too long. Paperwork is complete, and you have a means to potentially go down into the dungeons.
Note how he says
Yay.
potentially.
Oh, I did not
Something-
notice that.
Something's gonna go wrong.
Potentially. You
And
make your
Silver
way back
Dragon
to
just...
you make your way back
Hey,
to the
can I
guard.
take a look around real quick?
Okay.
See if that... Yeah, yeah, see if she's probably... Nope.
Or
God damn it. Okay.
I mean, if other people want to make a roll for it, they can.
Sure, fuck it, why not? Might as well.
7 from Young. Yay.
Why is Locke
18.
kicking ass today? 18.
All
Because
about that
you're
perception
on a
roll.
mission.
Alright.
Because it's currently my story arc, so...
Yeah, apparently.
Alright, what do I see?
Alright. So you make your way back to the guards post. You have your paperwork ahead of you, and you happen to glance back, and you see that the sort of archivist Dragonborn is following you as you leave and go towards the guard post. She has her hood and a cloak now. Not dark or anyway. It doesn't hide her, especially during the middle of the freaking day. But
She's definitely following us.
yeah, she's attempting to be stealthy and failing.
Alright, after about 15 steps, I'll just
roll my eyes sort of impatiently and spin on my heel to look right at her. Yes, can we help you?
Oh, yeah, well, I'm not as stealthy as I hoped I was.
I'm guessing Silver and Young doesn't even notice.
Well, Locke turned to look to her, and Locke stopped
Like,
moving and turned to look at her, and you guys were sort of
I-
following Locke, so.
Yeah, I locked, stop, and spun and spoke. So yeah, you would have noticed because we were traveling this group. So when you could just like stop and spin around his heel.
Gotta follow the guy. Oh, hi.
Hi. Okay, so take it from you speaking to the warden and everything that I wasn't eavesdropping, I promise. I only heard snippets of the conversation. But I take it that you were going to go inside and you were going to speak to someone in the prison.
Maybe.
Do you at least look into something for me, please?
Depends on what it is and if it's out of the way.
Out of the way. I sort of looks around. Something is very off with a lot of people in this town.
I will
don't want you
quickly use
that-
awaken.
that-
I will quickly use awaken mind interrupt and say,
Just think it. I have this weird thing where I can speak into your mind. Don't worry, I can't read your mind, only what you want me to hear. Let's talk using that. That way, if there's some asshole listening in who you don't want to, they won't hear a damn thing. We'll just be standing here staring awkwardly at each other.
Okay, that's really cool.
Magic.
Right. Magic. Gotcha. I have to ask you about that later. Anyway, it seems going into her mind, she's extremely rambly and all over the place.
Yes, please, just focus and get to the point, please. I'm kind of in a hurry myself.
Right, okay.
Why
So-
are we just standing here? Shh. Did you just shush me?
I'll sort of like point at my head, then point at her like back and forth, and moves my mouth like.
I know we're gonna be following someone. Wait, do we have to
Okay.
follow someone or do we have to go to the guards?
We were given paperwork to bring to the guards. I think is the thing.
Okay, so then we're fine.
So we have a bit of time, yeah.
Yeah, you're fine. Okay, so a really good friend of mine, he's in the prison somewhere. No one remembers him. But me. I don't know why.
Okay.
It's
What's his name and what does he look like? And what exactly are you wanting us to do about that?
I want you to see if anyone in the guard barracks and in and amongst the prisoners, maybe the prisoner that you go to talk to, you could but I want to know if anyone else other than me remembers Cadriel. Cadriel, rather. How did you pronounce that, Kenneth?
Cadriel?
Cadriel. Yeah,
Cadriel.
thank you. That.
How do you spell it? Someone type it in chat so I can copy it in my notes. And I will awaken mind, and I'll keep awaken minding in Master Dragonborn.
And what's your name?
Valzita. And if you can find out anything about him, there. I don't know. But
If I find anything, I'll let you know. Where can I find you?
no, mostly here. I'm the archivist for the warden. I sort of keep track of all of his notes and stuff. Which is how I know that something's really weird with Cadriel, because according to all the notes, he's not in there.
Well, I'll have a look, but I can't promise anything. My matters take priority. All right?
Right. Thank you.
All right. Now get to move on. We've been staring at each other for 5 minutes. People are going to get confused.
Right.
And then I'll
right.
kind of like popping out of awaken to mine. I'll just kind of like blink a few times, like sorry, and like just spin around and shuffle off awkwardly, trying to make myself look embarrassed, like I was just staring at something for way too long. Just make myself look as awkward as possible.
Gotcha. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. She actually gives you a wave, Silver.
She waves again.
And I'll
follows
go-
after Locke.
I'll go ahead and use Awakened Mind to convey the rudimentary basics of the situation of that lady and what she just asked of us to Yong and Silver both.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
And,
Well, of course this city's all fucked up. How has she not realized that?
Alright, well, back to the gates with the paperwork.
Alright.
In face, here, even though I can only reach so far.
So you hand over the paperwork. The guard sort of looks over it. This was a lot faster than I expected.
Must have been a slow day over there.
Suppose so. Well, if you wish to see him, follow me.
I'll keep my wits about me, and as I follow him, though, just like in the event that he's leading me towards something not good.
I'm assuming
Oh,
everyone
yes,
else
we're
is.
following.
So everyone else make for me perception rolls.
Including me?
Everyone make perception rolls.
13.
Oh, 5.
You're so close. Young?
5.
Oh god.
Alright. So
I miss Oak, I've decided.
Yes. Should have gone and pick him up.
alright.
We should have just
So-
been like actively like pick him up and carry him here. But anyway.
Alright.
So yes, so the highest one is a 13. That is me. What do I
Yeah,
see?
It's like
13
he's
was
sitting in
Silver.
his house eating porridge. All of a sudden, the door to his room gets kicked open, and there's an angry-looking Locke, cartoonishly exaggerated features. Oak, I am commandeering your eyes. Do not resist me. It just loves over, picks Oak up, throws him over his shoulder, and leaves. And I was like, the fuck?
Wait, Locke does that?
Yeah, just sure, why not? Just complete expectation subversion. Like the twig is carrying like the 6-foot-tall furball over his shoulder, like a sack of potatoes.
This is all in Locke's mind, but when he's really doing is have Oak's arm over, just one of his arms over his shoulder.
He's like tugging on his belt, just like, come on, you son of a bitch, I'm commandeering your senses.
Alright.
13. What do we see?
So, 13. The dungeon and castle itself is extremely like
Fancy.
like labyrinthy. There's twists and turns to different barracks or different wings of the prison and dungeon, and it's a little bit harder for you to keep track of where you're going. And you eventually make your way to a larger prison cell in the far off wings prison. And yeah, everybody's perception was relatively low to the point that you feel like you would get lost in this place if you didn't have some sort of a guide. Because it's very mazy in this dungeon. It's got high enough ceilings for all the Loxodons, which there are a few more down here that are in and amongst the guards with the different people, but a lot of the guards down here are actually human, just for sake of space. Because Loxodons take up a lot of room.
I figured they're elephant people.
So, and you find yourself gazing upon a cell from maybe 20 so feet into the cell itself, and you see humanoid of some sort that is just laying in the cot. Rags, hard to get any sort of discernible features, dirty, muddy,
All right.
maybe a touch beat up. Bit.
I'll turn to everyone else, including the guard, and say, is it all right if I'm given a bit of space here? This is kind of a personal thing. Keep me in visual range if you want, I say to the guard. Obviously, security and all that, but can I just get some space for the conversation to be private, please?
Problem.
All right, thank you. And I'll turn and make my way up to this cell, I guess. Does the person inside notice me?
Roll for that. Your father's human, right?
Yeah, that's what I specified.
Light source around where you are when the guards came through. So.
Yeah, and of course I have low light vision, being a half elf. So
As you make your way up, the ragged, sort of haggard person in the cot sort of looks up. You are?
first of all, your name is Frederick, correct?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, sure. That insight check.
Yeah, I'm insight checking the hell out of that.
19.
Thought you stayed back.
What?
I asked everyone, including party members,
Oh,
included, to stay
I'm
back.
sorry. I did
This
not
is a-
hear that.
Yeah, I asked everyone to stay back. This is a private thing.
Okay.
So 13 for my insight.
Damn. Okay.
It seems pretty
Right.
legit.
All right. Savanora, Alessandra. What do those names mean to you?
I haven't heard that name in years.
And what does it mean to you?
Someone I had to leave behind.
Why?
Because it got complicated.
Well, I imagine they got even more complicated after you left. I'll sort of crouch down a bit, lean forward. I imagine you don't have any idea who I am, though, do you?
Sort of sits up a little bit more. Kind of leans towards you, and he sort of leans and half rolls, half falls. No, I don't. And
I'll just kind of figures. You weren't there when I was born, after all. My name is William, and I'm Alessandra's son.
he sort of he seems to lose himself more than he already has for a second.
It's kind of like going into a trance kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah, actually. And he
Putting the piece.
sort of he in that trance-like state, he stands up and sort of very stumbly and weak walks over closer to where you are, or to the prison gate or prison doors. Bars.
So the bars.
And you see that, you know, having more light and from the guards around you and whatnot, that Riven thought you were malnourished. And his eyes are he's got bags under his eyes, his eyes are bloodshot. He is not in good shape by any stretch. And he's just looking at you and not saying anything.
Putting the dots together in your head.
Something like that.
Do you have any idea what happened after you left?
No.
There was an attack on Savanora. I don't really know specifics of who, but they came from the same direction you fled in. And a lot of people were killed in that fight. And Alessandra and her still unborn child, me, had to carry the blame, because everyone thought that for some reason it was you. She was barred from learning new spells. Her status suffered. She was looked down on. And when I was born, the idiot half-breed, my life was hell. From the day I was born, pretty much until today, a constant nightmare, with very few rays of light in between. Spat on, looked down on, kicked around, denied an education, denied friends, denied a chance to prove myself. because everyone had to take their hatred for you out on what you left behind. So what I want to know is why. Why did you leave? Why weren't you there?
When I realized that he was going to have a child, I ran. Not because I had any ulterior motives or wanted to get the village attacked. It was simply because I'm not cut out to be someone.
You could have at least tried. An honest effort would have been better than running. Did you even love her?
Did.
I don't think you did. Because if that were true, you wouldn't have turned tail and ran like a coward the second you realized a child was on the way.
You know as well
Even
as
if
I
only
do.
for hers. What was
You
that?
know as well as I do how that town feels about humans and happiness.
Yeah, well, you didn't exactly make it any better by running off. You could have stuck around and maybe you could have proven them wrong. At the very least, if you had stuck around, Alessandra, Mother, could have vouched for you. And maybe that could have given you some progress. Maybe that would have let me actually have a decent childhood. Maybe that wouldn't have gotten us both kicked out of the city. Is there nothing else to it? You just run because you were scared that you wouldn't be good enough?
I was a treasure hunter. Fool. I went out and I did dangerous things in an effort to gain fame and wealth. Look where it got me.
But you just tried to grab treasure from the wrong places. Spoiler alert, that's called stealing.
Stole from those who didn't deserve. And some nobility jackass got wind of it, caught me, stuck me in this place and put all sorts of other... The sentence that I got should not have been for his... Stuck here now. The mistakes that I have made. Now you come through and you remind me of one of the first.
Of course I do. Because I had to pay the consequences for it. And I just wanted to understand.
So what's
Maybe I
became-
could find a redeeming...
What's
Go ahead.
became of you?
Like I said, horrible childhood. Despite Mom's best efforts, we were looked down on, spat on, kicked around. I tried to get an education and I was denied it because they didn't even give me a chance. I got one question wrong, and that was it. Pretty much game over right from the very start. No one ever wanted to even look at me as anything more than a grotesque slime squelching along the street. None of the other children were ever allowed to even speak to me, much less be my friends. They all just saw me as some lowly, basic creature to taunt and humiliate and laugh at. Mother had to raise me all on her own, and with all of the pressure she was under because of how much of the blame she had to carry from what you did when you ran off. That's what became of us. And it got so bad, we both had to leave. We couldn't stay there, or we wouldn't be alive anymore.
What do you want to do? Found me and all my...
All I wanted to know, all I wanted to do was figure out the truth. I just wanted to know why. Now I do. I have one other question for you. Mother wanted me to ask it. I personally don't see much of a point to it, but she wants to know if you could ever find it in yourself to care about me.
It was always more heartfelt. I could, if I wasn't stuck here. I would want to spend time with you if I could get it.
Is there any guards around us?
Yeah, there is. And you can't hear this conversation.
Oh, no, I know. I meant by us since we're back up.
Yeah, probably one or two.
Oh yeah, there's a couple guards.
Were we just given a description of what the guy looks like that we were supposed to for the nice silver
The one-
dragon lady?
The one that you were supposed to look for, you were given a name, not a description.
Ah, okay. Is there a prison cell next to us?
Uh, yeah, there's a person in the cell next to you. Or next to Frederick. There's kind of be a sort
Well,
of...
we're like a good distance apart, so Locke can have his private conversation.
Yeah, like a good 30 or 40 feet back is what I was picturing.
Yeah,
So,
there's plenty of cells
so
around.
there's gonna be like to one and be like, Psst, hey, Mir,
Hmm?
Mir.
Mirror.
What?
Hey, I need you. Have you heard of a name? Cadril? Drill? Cadril?
Cadriel.
Okay.
Bleh. He Kenneth even did the thing to like
Cadril. Cadril?
Cadriel.
Okay. I apologize. I'm horrible with names. It'll take me forever.
You know,
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm just gonna say Cad for short. So, do you know
Right.
this person, Cad? Have you heard of his name? Of the name?
The person that you're talking to sort of seems to be this sort of disgruntled, dirty. Of course, he is because he's a prisoner. They all are. Older, somewhat older dwarven person.
Okay.
No. Nope. I don't know. I haven't heard it.
Inside checking.
Yep.
6.
Nope. He hadn't heard it.
Can I finish
Okay.
up my scene real quick?
Yes.
So, like with Locke after a moment, he'll
How long is your sentence?
Y'all can ignore that because I forgot to do whisper because I'm dumb. Anyway.
Yeah, you know everything.
except what we plan to do next. 'Cause you
Indeed.
know
Yes,
that shit
whatever
yet.
are we gonna do?
Well, I mean, how does Frederick respond to my question?
He had said, did you have another question besides the one that Alessandra had given you?
I mean, I asked him how long is his sentence,
Oh,
following up on his answer.
right. Okay. They're calling it a sentence of 20 years.
And how much of it have you served?
He sort of looks off to the wall, which is dark, and clearly he couldn't see that wall that's over there because he doesn't have dark vision, low
Right.
light or anything. But he looks off to the wall to the side, and maybe 6 of the 20 at this point.
I'll sort of stand back up to my full height and say,
If it's possible, I'll cut down your time somewhat by paying off some of your fine. If you mean what you said, if you could actually find it in yourself to care, then you'll come to Yukiegi when you're released. You'll find Alessandra and you will be there. And you'll make up for everything you missed. But if we find ourselves disappointed, I imagine you'll be out on your ass before you can say treasure hunting.
I would be in your debt if you got me out of here, or even given me a lesser sentence. Seems reasonable.
I'll just remember repaying that debt is actually being there when you're out. Frankly, after what I've heard today, I think it's more than you deserve, but I'm not going to be like the people back in Savanora. I'm going to actually give you a chance.
then I'm going to turn around and walk away. Go back to
Alright.
the rest of the group.
When you come back, you see Silver as has stepped away and is trying to talk to other various prisoners.
So can I ask the same question again to another one? Another insight
Yep.
check?
Yep.
Oh, this is stupid.
6, 7.
Nope.
Okay. How? That's nice. Okay. So, um
All right.
right. So how far away are the guards from us?
At this point, they are relatively close because well, they're going to be making their way back closer because they have deemed that you're done with the prisoner and are ready to escort you back out of the prison itself.
Yeah. So she's gonna sit there and let them go forward until there's a 15, like it's a good bit of ways from her and the guard that's leading them out. Is there one following behind, or?
What, behind where you guys were?
Yeah, she's trying to make it so she's not in like a 15-foot radius of a guard.
You would probably have a couple of maybe 15, 20 seconds before they would get in range of radius of guards, probably.
No, I meant as we're walking out that she's gonna try to lag behind a little.
Oh, okay.
So can she
yeah.
do that?
Yeah, you should be able to, yeah.
Zone of truth,
Alright.
and she's gonna get one of the prisoners in her circle and question again.
Alright.
What is this name? Come on, I know something's up here.
The,
Well, she's gonna try again. She's just
the
like
prisoner that you end up with here, aware of the spell. Okay. So,
they need to make a charisma saving throw or fail.
alright.
And I would know if they fail or not. So I'll be like, eh.
What is the DC for yours? What is the spell DC I would have to make?
Oh, did I not? Spell save DC is 15.
15? Okay.
Nope.
Alright. So, Zone of Truth comes through. You know whether or not they succeeded or failed, right?
Yes.
This particular individual has failed the save, if only barely. And it's a like a female half elf. Sort of looks around. Okay. What was the name again? Say it again.
Cad. I speak the full name.
Gradariel.
I understand, but it'll take me forever
Yeah, it's fine.
just to say it correctly. So I'd rather just say Cad, and I actually mean the full name.
Call him Kazoo.
Cause no,
Il Kazoo.
just yeah.
Anyway,
She slowly pronounces the name.
that sounds like a name that if one here was named that, I would know. That does not. There's no one here named that.
But we would have. So there's been no one that seemed to like have disappeared or anything.
That I know of. But at this point, some of the guards are coming closer.
I'm trying to think. What was all the details that Locke portrayed back to Silver about the problem?
That no one could remember him. Except for the Silver Dragonborn who asked us to find him.
So there's no like
according
lapse in your
to
memory.
what she knows, what Silver Dragonborn knows, he's in here. She wants to find him. Anyone she asks and any records that she keeps that she looks in.
You know, it would have been very helpful we had gotten a description.
It would have. I even asked her to describe him, but I guess Dara had missed that part.
She would have said that I did miss that part somehow with horrible quality of mic and stuff. um, she would have told you that if anything, since this town, he,
Like, what was his race?
yeah, precisely that. Um, if
Race,
no
any-
one could remember him, then maybe someone would know of a Loxodon down here.
All right.
So, do you have any guess elephant people down there? Is there anything more descriptive, like anything unique?
Not that. I mean,
Do
other
that,
than the
Kenneth.
fact that being that.
Check his name. He changed his name.
What?
Kazoo.
Yes, he did.
Kazoo?
Anyway, so
Okay, so it's just another Loxodon. Okay.
it being
like,
that
well, is there-
being that the nobility and the guardsmen, the royal guardsmen, and all that are mostly Loxodon, and that is the prominent job role of a Loxodon. It is very odd for a Loxodon to be in prison.
Okay, well,
And-
is there
and-
a Loxodon somewhere in prison here?
Let's be in the zone of truth to person.
Yes. Very quickly, because she's gonna have to shut it off before the guard gets too close.
I feel like that might be something that could be known, if for no other reason than hearing it.
Well, yeah. Well,
That is a question for you, Kenneth. I feel like that is could be an answer here.
Do what?
Do it.
can we use the excuse of a Loxodon being in prison as a thing of someone be like, oh yeah, they're over here?
Because they're big and loud and make bleeding noises. Trumpets, whatever.
I need to give him something to
Yeah, it's gotta be quick, please.
get in the right direction. So,
I mean, it's your story. You can adjust it however you wish. It's very strange that a Loxodon would be in their own prisons, and looking around, you probably don't see any Loxodons. And if you asked anyone, have you seen a Loxodon down here, they'd probably be like, yeah, all the guards. So, ultimately, it's however you
That's
want to...
actually in a cell.
Exactly. It's however you want to steer it. I'm good with however it goes.
alright. Okay. So, you asked her the question of, is there a Loxodon down here? And she's...
Of in a prison cell.
She about goes, out there. And then you're like, in a prison cell. And she's, oh. I remember seeing... Maybe? Fuzzy? I was hit on my head several times. Sorry. That kind of place. I haven't seen a Loxodon down here in forever. So if he is here, he's in one of the darker cells, maybe. And
I suppose it goes without, and I suppose it goes without saying, as we've been going, like Locke's actively like keeping an eye out for this guy.
yeah, and there was, I'm crazy. There was at one time, he wasn't here for very long. That's a good thing. He probably wouldn't have lasted. One time there was a bird person down here.
Like Kinku.
Yes. And the Loxodon, she's sort of rambling now and she sees the guards coming up closer. The Loxodon have a very distinctive sound to their voice at times because, trunk and nasal.
Yes.
and I heard that voice from this bird.
So the bird's okay.
So, maybe? Magic is weird.
All right.
She shuts it off and zone of truth off and picks up her way again.
When she catches up, Locke will awaken mind and ask her, "What was that about?"
Well, there could be a Luxendon down here, but in the darker cells, and supposedly a Kinku saw him.
Kenku saw him. Maybe there's a. All right.
But the thing is, how do we find the Kinku? That's a thing.
How fast are we walking? Like, are the guards going at a brisk pace, or are they like adjusting their pace to be more in line with mine?
We're
They're following at, I mean, they're pretty close by at this point now. Maybe a good 15 paces out.
I was mostly asking, like, are they keeping us going at a constant rate? Because they're escorting us.
Yeah.
yeah. So-
They're, once everything has been settled and they're closer and realizing, that you're done, they're sort of getting you at a somewhat brisk pace to get you out of here. And it's very mazy and labyrinth and yeah. Make a perception check.
Okay.
6.
Can I roll?
Oh yeah. This is for both of you.
No, 6.
Young.
Please
18.
save us. 18.
Alright. So, Young, having heard this exchange with the other prisoner, is like, so maybe one of the, like solitary confinement cells or something? If he's in a cell that you can't see in, maybe?
I'm gonna do a thing. As we
Okay.
are going, I am going to use Awaken Mind periodically on just random prisoners as we're passing to inquire, as like usually opening up with a very quickly worded, "Please don't panic, I'm just using magic to talk into your mind," blah 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 blah, that kind of thing, quickly assuage them, and then just ask, "Do you know of a Loxodon or a Kenku down here? Yes or no?"
No.
So how many give answers to that? Because like I'm asking this to a bunch of prisoners as we're going. I have to make it
Yeah,
quick. 'Cause
vast majority
it's-
of the prisoners say, no Kinku down here now. The question of a Loxodon down here is like, what? There wouldn't be any Loxodon down here.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead as that's going on and just sort of blink and turn on the thing that lets me use detect magic. So I'm detecting magic because I can just do that at will and see if there's like a magic aura and just permeating the air because something smells fishy to me.
You don't detect magic, you said?
Yeah, just because I can just do that pretty much instantly at will. So I'm just thinking. So is there like a magic aura just in the air or anything notable that might give a clue about this, or is it just rock?
It's okay. There is a it's sort of residual, as if it was something that was used a lot, but is not necessarily quote unquote active at this point. And there is a sort of, you get the sense that there's some sort of enchant
How many guards are escorting us? 2?
right around you guys right now. There are 3,
There's
but
3.
as far as guards actually in the dungeon, there are several.
Yeah, I know.
Around you currently is 3.
Alright. Okay.
Well, I'm maintaining the awakened mind thing just in the hopes that someone says something more interesting than nope, nothing.
You continue to go through, and after several more times, one person when asked about the Kenku is like, I I remember the Kenku. He was really weird. He
Do you know where? Quick, do
How
you
are
know where
you
he went?
talking to me in my mind? That's cool.
No, just quick. Tell me where he went. Do you know where he went? I can only do
Okay. So the Kenku that was here, he was here, and then he was let out. Someone bailed him out, and then after that, um, I saw him in a tavern when I was actually not stuck here, or I
Which
was stuck
tavern?
here. Yes. Uh,
Yes.
he travels around. He likes taverns. Doesn't drink,
What's the
but he likes
tavern's
taverns.
name?
Okay, so he likes taverns, so we can ask around town then, I guess. All right. All right, and at this point, I'm figuring we're probably exiting range because they only get like 60 feet at a brisk walk to make use of this chat. So I'm like, all right, I'm exiting range. This conversation's over. I hope your sentence ends soon. Bye. Thank you.
Um, bird person. Yeah. So
Wesley? Kazoo? Bird person? Communications have been terminated. Because they only have 60 feet to work with, 30 feet when they first enter range. And then they can go to 30 feet away. So I get 60 feet of communication before they leave.
And at least 35 feet of that is no. This is perfectly normal magic. Just answer my question.
It's the first 10 feet or so just saying, look, please don't panic. Just answer my question. I'm using matter to talk into your head. I just need to ask you something. Please explain.
Yes. All right. So you guys are left, or you're
actually, hold on. She's like under. Silver is actually doing the guards. She's gonna be like, kind of have a little charm on and stuff. Wait, are they Luxendons?
Yes,
the ones
Better
around you.
guarding
The ones
us?
around you currently are, yes.
Oh shit. Okay.
So you can't really seduce him, I don't think.
Nope. She's gonna be like,
This is when you
So-
learn Ultra Self as a spell and turn into a tiny Loxodon lady.
no, no. Um, she's gonna be like, so how big is this prison?
Harry,
Very.
it's this prison's like probably, contrary to my map of having it being miles long, the prison itself is probably a good 120 feet floor space.
Okay. Is there like multiple levels?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing your max is completely down on the bottom floor.
Most likely, yeah. Oh wait, you're asking this to a guard?
Yes.
Right. Yes. The max security and all that fun, or the max security is downstairs. Yes, of course.
So what do you put in max security?
Those that are deemed too dangerous for the world around them.
So they just sit and serve time, and do they ever get judged?
They are judged prior to being put in solitary. Once they are judged, and solitary is confirmed the desired sentence by the judge,
Who
They are
usually
left there.
judges them?
our high arbiter judge.
The High Arbiter?
Why is someone such as yourself so curious?
Why? I am just a guardian of hell, same as yourself.
Really?
She like holds up the holy symbol. Yes, I am. I've come from the temple from the west. Insert name here, because I'm a dumbass. I keep forgetting to name it.
Helm?
It's not really a temple. It's probably named after the mountain range that it's in, but it's the temple to Helm. Yes.
I see. Well, alright then. Yes. Solitary confinement is all downstairs. There are a few cells in the lower levels for those that are being judged or
So out of character, I'm guessing we're still on the first.
making
Or
your
did
way
we
up.
actually go?
The the prison has 3 levels, most of which are
Okay.
underground. The lower basement
Right.
level is the solitary confinement. You're currently sitting on the 2nd level and are making your way up to the 4th level or the 1st level to get out of the dungeon itself.
Okay.
But I think with you having actually found Locke and having some degree of insight on perhaps what you're going to do, the guards are going to want you to get out of here. And in
Yep,
particular,
totally fine.
this Loxodon you're trying to sweet talk is just like, no.
I'm not really sweet talking. It's just like kind of look nice and stuff. But would I know who the High Arbiter is of this town?
You would know that there is a high arbiter of this town that is a high elf, but you don't know anything about him. You've sort of seen him in passing. You don't know his name, and you don't know, like, where his domicile is. It's probably among the nobles in the castle, but reasonably. But you don't know his name or anything specific. But I think with that, you guys are being escorted back out, and we'll end the session here because long session is long.
Indeed.
Once again, with the long sessions, we have a lot of those.
That we do.
And Locke finally completed that particular part of his arc.
All right, it was great fun. Perhaps we will get this Kazoo or Cad out. It's rather amusing that you're deciding to give him the name Kazoo randomly when he's a Loxodon.
I mean, I just went with that because Kazu
Yes.
just kind of
Cadrill.
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 If
Kazoo.
you are not a Loxodon, it most likely has 3 syllables. If you're a Loxodon, it has sort of 2.5, because nasal.
This has been Shadows of Gradariel. Ryan, go.
Join us next time when we follow up on we're going to try and cut down on Frederick's sentence, and then we're going to follow up on this thing with the disappearing Loxodon and see where that takes us. What strange and unusual Kenneth the adventures await.